With roughly a week and a half left in spring training, the at-bats, the innings pitched, and the games are more important now for the Minnesota Twins this afternoon. From Hammond Stadium, they take on the Tampa Bay Rays. And it is a beautiful day for baseball here in Fort Myers. The Twins and Rays getting ready for the 2012 Major League season. And we welcome you to Fort Myers. Dick Bramer with Ron Coomer sitting in for Bert Lilevan here this afternoon. So many interesting storylines for the Twins so far in this month of March. One of the most encouraging signs over the last few days has been the swings of Justin Morneau.
They have really come around here as of late, Dick. Had a chance to talk to him earlier. And just first of all, when you get down here and you've had health issues, that's first and foremost, is to make sure you're healthy. We're watching him here take batting practice. I've been able to watch him swing as of late, and it's getting better and better and better. And then 2 days ago, you see 2 home runs, one to the middle of the ballpark. He pulls one. But when you talk about Justin Morneau, he really seems like he's having fun right now.
And he's dabbing that fun at the designated hitter's position. We've got kind of a domino effect here with the Twins in the field, first base, right field, and left field.
Well, we knew coming into spring that Justin might spend quite a bit of time as the designated hitter. With that being said, it changes the defense. Parmalee will end up playing a lot more first base, and then what that does is it changes a little bit of the outfield positioning. So there's going to be a few different guys maybe moving around a little more, and if Justin was going to play first than what we anticipated. But Gardy is very happy with the lineup he is putting out there and happy with where the team is right now.
And we mentioned the innings pitched are important, especially for Scott Baker today. He's not made a start in a couple of weeks. He'll be hoping to pitch 3-4 innings as he hopes to get ready for his 2012 season opener. Cloud in the sky, a beautiful day for baseball. Ben Zobrist leading things off of the Menards batting order for Joe Maddon's Rays. Luke Scott, Evan Longoria, Carlos Pena, Jeff Keppinger, and then Molina, Johnson, Rhymes, and Feliciano facing Scott Baker. And Baker's first pitch up and away, ball one. Zobrist, a twin killer over the years. Had that phenomenal doubleheader against the Twins at Target Field last year. Now Baker misses up and in. Important for Baker to pitch well, to give some encouraging signs that he'll be ready to go the first week of the season. But he has not made a start since March 6th in an official game. Over the plate at 87 miles per hour.
Here's his last season numbers. And Dick, you're right. You look at, he had 21 starts and he was 8-6. A little over a 3 ERA. But if Bake is healthy, Bake can really throw the ball and be a top end starter for the Twins. Right now coming back, he's had a little bit of elbow issue. But I talked to him earlier in the clubhouse and he said he's pain free. He threw earlier in the week in the backfields, feels fine. So we'll see today. Everything's been up so far, but always when you get into that first game after coming back from injury, we'll see how the adrenaline and how the elbow feels.
Been here for his last couple of bullpen sessions where he's given thumbs up after the bullpen session. There's a breaking pitch missing and it's a full count. Structurally, the word is there's nothing wrong with the elbow. It's some elbow tendonitis that Baker dealt with over the last couple of years, and it's struck him early this year. 3-2 to Zobrist and a drive foul down the right field line. Take a look at our Sanford Health injury report. Baker has been a fixture in the rotation when he's been healthy, and his only spring start came against the Rays on March 6th. And as you said, a minor league game, some bullpen sessions, all intended to prepare him for when his first start would be around April 9th. Driven to left center and tagged pretty well. It'll go all the way to the warning track, and Zobrist, who not only got a lot of hits but had a very high slugging percentage against the Twins last year, starts the day with a double. A change for the Twins in the Northland Ford defense. Josh Willingham originally was in left field, but he tweaked an ankle the other day, retweaked it today as a precautionary move only. Willingham's out of the lineup. Revere in left, Span in center, and Ryan Doman in right field, and infield of Valencia, Carroll, Casilla, and Parmalee with Joe Mauer behind the plate. And as we suggested before, Justin Morneau is the designated hitter. That's the Northland Ford defense, and here is Luke Scott. As you look through the numbers for Scott, Zobrist, Pena, and Longoria, Rays have struggled to pick up wins. They really struggled to score runs this spring. Roll to the right side, and an easy play for Casilla with Zobrist moving to third.
And with that being said, Dick, right there, that's how you start scoring more runs and doing things right. You know, he hooks the ground ball after the double. Zobrist is a very good at bat, driving the ball around. But this guy, Joe Madden, really does a good job managing. He's a very fundamental manager. He makes his team play fundamental baseball, and you just saw it right there, getting the runner to third base.
Yeah. Scott had a chance in the first pitch to hit the ground ball to the right side to advance the runner, and now Longoria will hit with the Twins bringing the infield in. Bouncer to short. Carroll, playing short, is able to keep the runner at third, 2 down.
Great pitch by Bake right there. Knowing Longoria wants to get the ball elevated and hit it to the outfield to drive in run, throws him a little off-speed pitch and gets it in a good spot. Very good pitch by Bake to get Longoria out in front. See that ball right off the end of the bat. Good pitch by Bake. Good pitching right there.
Well, here is Carlos Pena back with the Rays after a 1-year exile with the Chicago Cubs, and Zobrist at third now with 2 outs. Pena hasn't hit much this spring, but Pena hasn't hit much the last 3 years in the big leagues. He's hoping to recapture some of the magic that he had a few years ago with the Rays. Outside, ball 1.
Pena, one of those guys, a lot of home runs, has some production, hitting the ball out of the park, but definitely a few holes in the swing. Swings very hard. But if Bake can make some pitches on him, he could get a strikeout here and get himself out of the inning.
Breaking ball missing, and it's 2-0. You know, the Twins went through this the first couple weeks of spring training, really struggling to score runs. They get a leadoff double and not bring the runner in. But now that's one of the most encouraging things, I think, for Ron Gardenhire. Not only is Morneau swinging the bat well, Luke Hughes is blistering hot right now. Mauer's swung the bat well. Parmalee has been swinging the bat well, so there's some guys that figure to be in the picture in Baltimore for opening weekend who are starting to come around.
They really are. And talking, you know, everybody talks about Joe and Justin, and both of those guys today and talking in batting practice are really starting to feel comfortable at the plate. Joe said it's kind of a progression from left field early in spring, and now he's starting to be able to pull the ball a little better with a little more power and feeling more comfortable. Luke Hughes is a story. It seems like every year he just pounds the ball in spring and really gives himself a good chance of making the ball club. This last couple of weeks will be real important for him. 7
hits in his last 8 at bats. I told him today, save a few for April.
Yeah, right.
3-1 to Pena. Baker trying to get through this first inning without a run allowed. And that shaves the inside corner and fills the count.
Good two-seamer by Baker right here. Inside corner, hitting the spot. If he can throw an off-speed pitch for a strike right here or down in the zone, he'll probably get Pena to chase something.
3-2 to Pena. Swing and a miss with a high-tailing fastball. So Baker gets through the first inning and pitches around a leadoff double. Swing and a miss with a high. Ron Gardenhire and the Twins hoping to finish strongly over the next week and a half. And here is his Menards batting order for today's game with the Rays. Denard Span leading things off. Jamie Carroll hitting second. Bauer, Morneau, Domet, Valencia, Parmalee, Revere, and Casilla. Again, Josh Willingham was in the starting lineup in the left field. Scratched with a minor ankle injury, and they'll all be facing the big man, Jeff Neiman.
Look at Jeff's numbers from last year, 11-7 with just over a 4 ERA. He's one of those guys, Dick, when he's on, he can really make it difficult. Great angle. These are guys when they're 6'10", 6'9", the downward plane on their fastball, when they get it working, makes it difficult. The Twins will want to get the ball up off Neiman if they're going to have some success.
Denard Span to lead things off. Span has had a quietly good spring training. And within that is another encouraging note for the Twins. Span, of course, had some concussion symptoms last year that kept his season from being a full season. And you can see hitting .324. He's drawing walks, taking pitches, and in the simplest sense, he's being Denard Span again this March. And he chops it foul. Northland Ford defense for the Tampa Bay Rays. Rhymes, Feliciano, and Zobrist. The outfielders. The Rays have had some injury issues. We'll talk more about those over the course of the broadcast today. Longoria, Elliott Johnson, Keppinger, Pena around the infield, and Jose Molina behind the plate. 2 strikes quickly to Denard Span. Ball 1.
You know, when you talk about Denard Span, you got to, for Gardy, he talked about it earlier today, I don't have to go to the doctors and see who's playing now. And I think the one thing about Denard Span, he's able to come to the ballpark every day with a clear head, knowing he's going to be out there playing. For Denard, that's just a great sign to know you're walking to the ballpark healthy every day.
Two Hopper to second. Span's retired, and that'll bring up Jamie Carroll. Carroll in his first year with the Twins, he got off to a slow start, but now he's picked up some hits along the way. And one good thing about having a 38-year-old shortstop, Jamie Carroll's not going to overreact not getting many hits in the first couple weeks of March.
No panic right there. When you talk to Jamie and you talk about him playing, you know, been there, done that. Sometimes you have a great spring, sometimes you struggle early, but he's a guy that comes to the park, gamer. You know, you're going to get a quality at bat from him throughout the year, and he's the ideal two-hole hitter for the Minnesota Twins.
And he drives it down the right field line. Fair and into the corner. Carroll rounds first on his way to second, and he'll hold up there with a one-out double.
We talked about earlier, you want to get the ball up off Neiman, and you know, Jamie right there letting the ball get deep and pitch up a little bit, and just what we talked about, you know, a perfect two-hole hitter. That's the perfect two-hole swing. Little inside out, shooting the ball the other way. Stand-up double.
So we'll see if the Twins can fare better with their one-out double than the Rays did with their leadoff double. Mauer to the plate, and then presumably Morneau will follow. And Joe's had a very solid spring. Terry Ryan met with the media about 20 minutes before game time here today, and somebody who had not been with the Twins media contingent all through the month of March asked about Mauer, and Terry Ryan said, you know, one of the great things, he's not been a topic of conversation. No one's been the least bit concerned about him. He's come to camp this year in great shape. He's taken a full workload behind the plate, and then of course has worked in some time at first base as well.
Well, and you can just see it in his demeanor, Dick. We were watching batting practice, and you can see they're happy guys right now. They're healthy, mentally they're feeling good, their body's feeling good. Joe is working his normal progression of how he's been swinging the bat through spring, and you're working on your game as opposed to just working in rehab of trying to get back on the field.
2-0 to Mauer, first base open, Morneau on deck. Swing, but he went 2-1. Mauer said as much, and I think it's the sentiment within the clubhouse that the team individually and collectively embarrassed by what happened last year. Sometimes you need to remind yourself the talent that the Twins should be able to have in the middle of their lineup, specifically Mauer and Morneau, provided they're healthy.
Well, there's been a lot of talk about the Detroit Tigers and what they've added. What they've added is what we have. You have two MVP candidates hitting right in the middle of your lineup, and that's what you have with Mauer and Morneau. If they're healthy, they're as good as any pair in Major League Baseball.
Neiman shaves the outside corner to even the count at 2-2.
That last pitch, a good fastball, and that's what a guy 6'10", 6'11" can give you. When he gets a good downward plane, you give up on the fastball thinking it's away, and it just ends up hitting the glove and hitting the corner. It really makes it tough when he's on his game.
Down the left field line, but it'll turn left. We talked in the open about the domino effect. And Terry Ryan moments ago said, don't pigeonhole Justin Morneau into the DH spot yet. He expects, the general manager does, that the DH spot will be a rotating position. But within that, Mauer will spend some time in the DH spot. Morneau will. Mauer will spend some time at first base, but the hope still is that Morneau will be the dominant primary first baseman. And Neiman now gets that outside corner again. Mauer strikes out. So if Mauer's health has not been an issue in spring training, Justin Morneau's health has been, and we get today's update from Justin.
Good. Everything's going good. So, been able to do regular spring work and been able to get my swings in. Swings starting to come along, so everything's been going good.
And Morneau has had a couple of very good games in a row. Sharply hit on one hop to the second baseman. Keppinger with the play. And the Twins strand Carroll at second base. And a scoreless first inning. Each team with a double in the first inning, a scoreless first inning. We're happy to have Twins reliever Matt Capps with us, joining us from the end of the Twins dugout. Capper, talk a little bit about your spring and how it's gone so far for you.
It's been good so far. We've had a nice Ram camp. Guys, for the most part, everybody seems healthy and ready to roll, so it's been nice. Weather's been perfect. Golly, this is the nicest spring weather I can remember having.
First pitch popped up behind second base. Casilla with the catch, one down.
Caps, you already talked about when you re-signed with the Twins and you were a free agent, why they went after you. Obviously, Joe Nathan left. The closing spot was open, but they loved the way you went about your business, and you pitched last year and you were a little banged up. Can you talk about how your health is right now?
I feel good. I feel like the ball's coming out good. But I felt pretty good spring training last year too. We got into last year and kind of with the way everything went for the bullpen and the whole team early on last year. Kind of needed to do some things that wasn't real comfortable doing, but got out and did it. We threw a lot of multiple innings early in the season. I think it just caught up to me midway through, and this year I feel like we tried to prepare for that a little more, tried to throw a little more, and started a couple of weeks earlier, and then you go down to a minor league game and throw multiple innings and stretch out a little bit. But all in all, I feel good. My arm feels good, my body feels good, so ready to get it rolling.
Well, you kind of touched on it. The breakdown of the bullpen last year actually started when the starting pitching had a few rough spots early on, and to that end, a pretty big start here today for Scott Baker, I would think.
Yeah, I think so. He's been, elbow and arm a little tender here the last couple of weeks, but that's part of it. Spring training, kind of get the body moving and going back into baseball mode, and that happens from time to time. So good to see him back on the game mound, and hopefully he can get his 3 innings in, get his work in, and move forward with it. Right in the dugout. Oh, that's a finder. Got Hughes right in the chest. Got him.
What kind of finder is that, by the way?
Ugly finder.
We just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah, ugly finder. That's the nicest way to put it. Got him right in the chest. Squared him up.
3-2 to Molina with one gone. Dick Bramer, Ron Coomer joined by Matt Capps, and now Baker loses Molina on a 3-2 pitch.
Dick, every pitcher, when you see a walk, you hear the say, oh, man.
No, you don't like to see that. I mean, free passes, hit it. I don't care where you hit it, how hard you hit it in the park, and let one of our guys go chase it down.
Hey, Matt, you're, I think, scheduled to pitch early in the ball game tomorrow. Tell the fans, because we've tried to explain over the course of our telecast, closers during the regular season, of course, pitch usually the 9th inning, but in spring training, there's hardly a closer that pitches that late in the game. Why is that?
I think it's so you can kind of get your work in, and I think more times than not, and probably more often than not. I guess those are the same things, more times than not, and more often than not. But,
yeah, that's pretty much the same.
Yeah, it's an older guy. It's a guy that's been around for a while. They've kind of put in their time, put in their dues. So, get them into the ball game a little earlier, let them get their running in, and kind of have the evening. If you throw the 9th inning in spring training, you're here till 6:30, 7 o'clock, and then, for me,
that past your bedtime.
I'm in bed at like 8:39. I used to be. Now that we have a little one around, I'm very sporadic.
Things change a little.
Yeah, when I'm down and when I'm up, very sporadic. But for the most part, I think it's just to answer your question. It's usually older guys and guys with a little more experience, and this could be right on. Oh, it's Dana's guy.
No, you're all right. Third base got it, Matty.
Yeah, I like it. So, but let those guys get in, get their work, and get out and get home and get ready for tomorrow.
Matty, I know when you were re-signing with the Twins this winter, Terry Ryan and Ron Gardenhire both came out and said, how much of an influence you were in the clubhouse. And even though you had a little arm soreness, you were willing to take the ball all the time, all year long. Talk a little bit about that and the importance of, for you being a veteran pitcher for some of the young guys, and understanding how important it is for you to take that ball and the importance for the manager.
You know what? It's fun. I enjoy the heck out of competing and going out, and it's me against him. And last year it wasn't as much fun as years past because it's usually more fun when you're winning and doing well. But I enjoy that fire and the juices of going out and competing against the other guys. And no matter how you feel, you want the ball. You want to go out and play. I'm playing the game of baseball at the highest level in the whole world, and I love what I do. I love coming to work every day, and the opportunity and the window of opportunity to be able to do this is short enough. I just want to take advantage of it every day I can, and as long as physically I can pick up a ball and get it in the right direction, I'd like to go out and play. But it's a double-edged sword. You're here to get a job done, and physically, if you can't get that job done, it's not good for you or your ball club. But nonetheless, no matter how bad you feel or what's aching or sore, like I said, love going out and playing and competing, and that's what we did last year.
Matt, we're going to let you go before another ugly finder gets into the Twins dugout there.
Yeah, that's perfect because. Never mind.
Go protect Husey, will you?
Yeah. Well, you got Willingham standing right here. I mean, he's not a pretty guy, but he can hit the ball. So I guess that's what it's all about.
Hey, good luck in 2012, and we'll see you in Baltimore.
All right, guys. Thanks.
Good luck, buddy.
All right. The batter is Rhymes, Will Rhymes. 1-1 the count, 2 gone. Baker trying to pitch around the 1-out walk. There's a strike on the outside corner.
Good breaking ball right there by Bake. I know Rick Anderson, the Twins pitching coach, is going to be watching, obviously, how the ball comes out of his hand and if he's got good life. But right there, Dick, good backdoor breaking ball. Good sign from Bake.
And Rick Anderson hoping to get through today's game with just 3 pitchers used. Baker getting 2, maybe 3 innings. The hope is 3. Liam Hendricks scheduled to pitch, and then Jeff Manship. Flip foul off the bat of Rhymes. And Baker, in all honesty, he mentioned he hasn't made a start in a game against major leaguers since March 6th. So he's about here at the end of March where he would like to have been in the middle of March.
For sure. But Baker's one of those guys. He's pitched for a long time here, and he understands what he's got to get done. I got a feeling, Scotty, if he gets through this start and everything feels good, he'll be back on his rotation. He'll probably try to throw him one more time and stretch him out a little bit more. As you said, today will be 3 innings, and hopefully he'll get 4 or 5 innings his next start, and he'll be ready to go in April.
Can't help but look at the velocity, and we've seen him at 86, 87, I think is the hardest fastball we've seen him throw.
That's a good fastball right there, a little running fastball. And it wouldn't surprise me today, the second and third inning, if that velocity of his fastball starts increasing a little bit as he feels a little more comfortable.
And Ryan chips one down the left field line. Molina has no leg speed at all. He'll only go to second base. So good at bat for Rhymes, who did what he needs to do to make this Tampa Bay team keep the at bat alive and make contact.
Yeah, Rhymes, just a good pitch by Bake. Another backdoor breaking ball going down, and he just sticks the bat out. A little 15 love over the infield, but all in all, that's a good pitch by Scotty.
Jesus Feliciano will hit with 2 on and 2 out. We mentioned the Rays have some injury issues. B.J. Upton, Desmond Jennings were involved in a collision a couple of weeks ago. Neither's played much, if at all, since then. And yet there's hope that they'll both be ready for opening day. But Feliciano getting a lot of time out in the outfield, and he lines one into right field, and Molina will be held at third. So the Rays putting together a 2-out rally here with their 8 and 9 hitters poking base hits to fill the bases with 2 outs.
So one of those things, that pitch right there got a lot of the plate, and now you're going to face Zobrist. But if you're Scott Baker, you got to be happy. You're at least throwing strikes. You're getting the ball where you want it, except for that last pitch. I think that one just center cut. Baker wanted to get that ball in. He missed the spot by a few inches, and you pay the price.
Zobrist cracked a double to start the ball game. Was left at third base in the first inning.
As a hitter, Dick, there's always that one team that you either love to face or hated to face. This guy Zobrist, he just wears us out.
And he cracks one to right field, deep to the corner, and gone. A grand slam. Jumping on the first pitch. And the Rays put up a 4 spot here with 2 outs in the second.
I hated to say that, but Zobrist, one of those guys, when he faces the Minnesota Twins, it just seems like pitches that he gets, anywhere we throw him, down and away, up and in, he makes the best of it. His last at bat, he fouled some balls off that he hit hard, and that ball in, and he smokes it over the left field or right field wall for a grand slam.
So the Rays, who struggle to score runs, get a big jolt from Ben Zobrist. That brings up Luke Scott. Saw one pitch against Baker in the first inning and tapped out to second, but advanced the runner to third. High fastball, ball 1. That hit hard, but foul. Not only is Baker now where he would like to have been in the middle of March, but the hitters he's facing are at the end of March. I mean, they've had plenty of at-bats, and as we've said, some of the Twins hitters are starting to swing the bat better. Now, that's the hope for the Rays, that the likes of Zobrist and Longoria and Pena are gearing up and will catch up to the pitching that's been dominant by the time the real season rolls around in a week and a half. Lifted foul over the Twins dugout.
And that pitch right there is what Rick Anderson's going to look for. Bake has missed out over the plate a little bit where he's trying to come in and you miss in the middle, and that's just what happens early in March. You know, you can miss a little bit. The hitters are behind. You know, you don't pay the price. Now, as you were saying, the hitters are starting to catch up, and when you make a mistake, the balls are going to be put in play hard, and that's what's happened here lately.
Fly ball center field. Span comes in. And that's the third out, but not until the Rays get a single, and then a grand slam from Ben Zobrist. Zobrist with a grand slam. It's 4-0. When you join the Twins season ticket family this year, you'll be hitting the sweet spot. Purchase any of the Twins season ticket packages, and you receive sweet spot benefits that are second to none in pro sports. Call 800-33-TWINS or visit twinsbaseball.com to check out the options, which currently include full season, 20-game and 40-game plans, and learn about the sweet spot benefits. Here's Ryan Doumit leading off the Twins second against Jeff Neiman, and he takes ball one. Doumit in right field for the Twins, with the Twins announcing yesterday that Josh Willingham will be their starting left fielder. Now, Willingham will admit to you that he feels more comfortable in left field, but suggestion is that his comfort level isn't the primary reason why. Doumit just absolutely crushes one. My goodness. Almost reached the pond in right field, and it's a 4-1 ball game.
As you said, that ball was tattooed. One thing Twins fans are going to like out of Ryan Doumit is he's a big, strong guy at home plate. You make a mistake, he will absolutely make you pay. This is a fastball in the middle of the plate, and there's no mistake here. This is like 4th of July. Listen to the fireworks. Yikes.
So the Twins quickly back on the board. It's a 4-1 ball game. And here's Danny Valencia. Ball one. Anyway, Doumit getting a chance to play in right field, and all of this is part of that domino effect that if Morneau DHs, and then they want to get Doumit into the lineup, Parmelee will see some time out there. Ben Revere, if he makes the team, would be the spare outfielder and would need to see some time out there. But Willingham appears to be the left fielder for the Twins, and the rotation will come in right, not in left. 1-1 with Valencia facing an infield shift. And a called strike two. You can see the second baseman for the Rays, Keppinger, playing over on the third base side of second.
Be interesting to see with Danny Valencia. This usually happens to veteran players, not to young guys. And for Danny, this is going to be different if Joe Madden has a little success with this. If other teams start adopting this, knowing Danny really looks to hook the ball. It's a breaking ball down and away, and Danny looking to hook it, pulling the ball, coming off just a little early. But it'll be interesting to see. Danny, second time through, third time through. Now the teams have seen him a little bit. How they're going to pitch him, how they're going to play him. Little adjustment time.
Here's Parmelee. The scenario that's been played out, at least in the media, with Morneau seeing more time as the designated hitter, would only be possible if Parmelee had a good spring, and that's exactly what he's had.
He's had a good spring offensively and defensively too, Dick. When you look at Chris Parmelee, the Minnesota Twins have always been a defensive-minded team, wanting to play good defense, especially in the infield. Chris Parmelee has stepped up and gives Gardy a quality first baseman over there.
And a breaking pitch over 1-2. Now, I asked him this morning about playing in right field, and he reminded me something that I had forgotten. His first 3 years in the minor leagues, he was a right fielder. He didn't come in and play first base full time until midway through his minor league career, just off the plate at 2-2. So he says, yeah, he's been out there. He's taken some fly balls during batting practice, played a couple of games in right, and he feels very comfortable out there. Now, all that said, he's the first baseman in the game here this afternoon. One thing is apparent as we're getting to the wrap-up stages of spring training is Ron Gardenhire, barring injury, is going to have much more flexibility with his roster than he's had in many, many years, perhaps ever, with the likes of Parmelee, Doumit, Mauer, a catcher, first baseman, designated hitter. Now Parmelee draws a walk. And so he's going to have some options that he obviously did not have last year.
There were a lot of games, as we've talked about last season, where really he had one move to make for the whole game, and that's all he could do. Where now you're going to have some guys coming off the bench that can hit the ball out of the ballpark, and guys left, right. They can play the infield. You can get an outfielder out there. So it really gives Gardy a lot more ability to manage the game than he had last season.
So Parmelee might see some time as an outfielder for the Twins, and you can't help but wonder what that means for Ben Revere, who's in the lineup because of Willingham's ankle tweak. And can Terry Ryan address that before the game today, saying, you know, Ben Revere does not have a good right fielder's throwing arm, but he doesn't have a good left fielder's throwing arm either. And he says that won't keep him from making this club. That Ben has a lot of other attributes that he can utilize and still make this ball club. If not as an everyday right fielder, one of those, you know, flexible guys we were just talking about. He could be in left, he could be in center, he could be in right. And his speed and ability to run and catch the ball is going to be an asset in any of those spots.
Well, and the one thing Gardy talked about last year is getting more athletic. Ben Revere makes this ball club much more athletic. To me, keeping a guy like him where he can play center field and give Span some time off, add what he's doing right here, add some offense to the team, and also he's our one base stealer that you know is looking every time he gets on base to steal a base. A lot of options for Gardy with Ben Revere on the bench or out in the field.
1-2 to Revere. Another hook, and Revere checks his swing and watches it just miss the outside corner. 2-2.
Big overhand curveball. You usually don't see the ball come out of that spot. He might be throwing it out of the hitting background when you're 6'11" throwing that curveball. You're going to get a few more check swings with a guy like Neiman on the mound, that's for sure.
Foul back now. I mean, let's do the math here. Neiman at 6'9" is a foot taller than the guy he's facing, Ben Revere. Now that, you talk about arm angle and all that, if you're Ben Revere, that ball has
coming out of the crystal blue sky.
Exactly.
I don't know if Ben's angle and the catcher Molina's angle are much different with even pitching.
2-2 to Revere. Checks his swing again on another breaking ball, and it's a full count. We'll see if the Twins send Parmalee here. Blocked by Molina. I don't know how many times announcers have said that over the last 12 years with Jose and his brothers, Benji and Yadier.
What a family of catchers, hasn't he? They've just been phenomenal.
Full count, Parmalee at first, not blessed with great speed, but he takes off nonetheless, and Revere takes ball 4. So Parmalee will glide to second and reach safely. And on a close pitch, Revere draws the second consecutive walk.
Good pitch by Neiman right here, right on the outside corner, maybe just a little off the plate. But one thing about it, it's always a tough call. Fielding Culbreth behind home plate. When the guy's running, the catcher starts coming up, that pitch down and away is always tough for the home plate umpire, who usually is sitting on the inside corner to see that pitch. He looked like he hit the glove right there with the fastball, but Twins got to call him. First and second, 1 out.
Molina with a quick trip to the mound. Well, an interesting scenario here now. The Twins have taken a couple of 1-out walks. Casilla, the number 9 batter, followed by Span, the leadoff batter. So with the exception of Parmalee at second, some speed for the manager to maybe play around with here. We'll see what the Twins decide to do, if anything. And you can see Casilla's had a good spring. Down low, ball 1.
This right here with this lineup in, you get Revere in the 8 hole, a guy that can really run. Lexi can really run. And then you go to Denard Span. You got 3 guys, top and bottom of lineup, that can all really run the bases. Great team speed right now for the Minnesota Twins down at the bottom and the top of the lineup.
Neiman named the number 5 starter for the Rays, and he's wobbling with his control, having been given a 4-0 lead here in the second. 2-0 to Casilla.
That's the collective. There's a strike in the outside corner.
Been watching Neiman's velocity too, Dick. Sometimes the guns are a little deceptive in different ballparks. You know, he's been around that 87 to 90 mile an hour range. And if I remember correctly from last year, he's usually that 90, there you go, 91. He's the 92, 93, 94 range. And he's had some fastballs at that 87 mile an hour.
I've always felt that the gun on this field is slow because this is the field we use in the fantasy camp. And when I'm out there on the mound, I can guarantee you the speed gun is significantly slower here. Here's a 3-1 pitch, chipped up in the air. Longoria in foul territory makes the catch. Infield fly rule was called. I think the speed gun here is off by at least 10, 12.
Before you get in the promo here, you want me to tell you how the speed gun is in fantasy camp? 1,001, 1,002, 1,003, and here comes the pitch.
As the Twins get ready for the upcoming season, now's a good time for you to prepare for a group outing at Target Field. The options are plentiful for groups of 25 or more this season. You can select from reserved seats to single game event suites. Call 800-33-TWINS or visit twinsbaseball.com. Check out the options and learn about the benefits group organizers will receive this year. Here's Span. Big swing and a foul. So Neiman trying to wriggle out of this second inning mess he's pitched himself into here. Got a big second out on a 3-1 pitch. Casilla didn't hit the ball hard at all, and now Span trying to do something with the men on base.
I talked to Joe Vavra before the game during batting practice about a number of the hitters, but he brought up Denard Span and how he's really having a good spring and looks like he's swinging the bat like he did in 09 when Denard had a big year.
Taken low, dug out by Molina, 1-1. When we say, you know, Span's having a good year, he's doing that by being Denard Span. He's not trying to be Curtis Granderson or anybody like that. He's just trying to, you know, go deep in the counts, work out some walks, see a lot of pitches, and hit over 300, which he's proven he's capable of doing.
To me, when Denard Span is hitting the ball back through the middle of the field, the line drives over the shortstop's head is very good. And then pick your spots to pull the ball. When he's doing that, he's outstanding.
Nice running catch by Feliciano out in center field. Little fly ball that almost died in front of the Rays center fielder. The Twins get one and leave two. The Rays with a grand slam off the bat of Ben Zobrist, taking the early lead. Weekdays on Fox Sports North, it's the Dan Patrick Show. Exclusive guests, including high-profile athletes, celebrities, breaking sports news, unparalleled insider access. Thursday, Wolves All-Star Kevin Love scheduled to appear. The Dan Patrick Show, weekdays at 8 in the morning on Fox Sports North. Dick Bramer along with Ron Coomer. Ron will be doing a significant number of telecasts this year. Bert Blyleven is going to do 101 of them. And then the plan is Ron. There's a drive deep off the bat of Longoria to left center field. And off the base of the fence, and Revere slings it back to the infield. So the Rays, who hit Baker around pretty hard in the second inning, jump on the first pitch of the third, and it's another extra base hit.
Pitch by Baker right there, getting in the middle of the plate, and Longoria is sitting on it. You know, that's a fastball. Baker, you know, earlier in the game, he was hitting some corners, making some good pitches with his breaking ball. I think right now, with his fastball, he's lost just a little bit of location and just a few too many pitches in the middle.
So a leadoff double here in the third, and now Carlos Pena, who struck out to end the first inning. But Ron's going to be doing some telecasts this year. Tom Kelly, Roy Smalley will also be in the mix. And it all gets started in a week and a half in Baltimore. Speed pitch off the plate, ball one.
I know you've been down here for quite a while, and Paul and I, we just got down here last week, but we could have been playing back home last week.
Oh,
it was
my goodness.
75 degrees, and all the golf courses are open. Everything's starting to green up, and we're in the middle of March, Dick. Back home.
Pounded foul, 1-1. And as I've tried to explain to the likes of Josh Willingham, Ryan Doman, who don't really know much about April weather in Minnesota, the fact that it's 80 degrees in March shouldn't mean at all that we're not going to have snow in April. We'll just hope for the wonderful weather to continue. And we had a little mix of everything last year at Target Field: rain, snow, hail. Skied to short left field, and Revere has a long run, but he makes the catch.
That's a great play right there by Ben. It doesn't look like much, but the middle infielder, Jamie Carroll, having trouble with the sun and going out on a high fly ball. It's such an easier play for Ben Revere to come in and make that play. You could see right away Jamie Carroll struggling with the sun, and for Revere to recognize that and coming in and making that play much easier. You see Jamie right there struggling, and he was quite a ways from the ball and still wasn't getting under it. Great play by Ben to take charge. All you young players out there, the outfielder needs to take charge on that ball if he can.
Keppinger, the hitter. And you can see with Pena up, Carroll started almost directly behind second base. So he had a little more extra ground to make up too, even to get back on the outfield grass.
Right. The other big thing about today, Dick, is when you look in the sky, it's a very high sky. There's no clouds. Depth perception very tough on real high fly balls that stay around the infield. Very tough for the infielders.
This may be the calmest day we've had weather-wise. Very little breeze. 2 strikes to Keppinger.
Nice shot there, guys. We'd like to take about 80 of those.
Oh my!
Up north, right?
Yeah. We've already had a couple.
Yep.
High and tight. And you're seeing the velocity reading at 88, which in and of itself is encouraging. Baker in his bullpen sessions and in his minor league start not letting it fly as much, and he feels comfortable enough apparently in his third inning of work to reach back and, you know, try to get close to 90 miles per hour. And then in April, presumably, the adrenaline rush will get the fastball back where we would expect it to be. There's a liner to center. And Longoria rounds third. He'll score. Keppinger makes it a 5-1 ball game.
Yeah, and that fastball right there, it almost looked like Bake kind of pushed that pitch, trying to really get location and get it away, and didn't have a lot on it. But this is, you know, this is what you expect. He hasn't pitched much. He hasn't pitched much in the big league games. You know, that fastball had good tilt to it. But right now, Bake is, you know, it's like early in the spring, like you said earlier. So right now he's getting his work in. And to me, the most important thing will be after this ball game, how do you feel if the arm is healthy? You know he has quality big league stuff. It's just all about health for Scotty Baker.
Here is Jose Molina. Baker's start today important on a lot of fronts. The Twins have excused Jason Marquis from the daily routine here. Marquis got a family situation. He has a young daughter who was involved in a bicycle accident, and we want to pass along our best wishes to Jason, his family, and specifically his daughter Molina tries to put the ball in play behind Keppinger, who is running the second. So first and foremost, our thoughts are with Jason and his family, but he's missed about a week of time down here, and he's kept up a throwing program that the Twins are confident won't set him back as he hopes to take his turn the first week of the season in the Twins rotation.
Well, Marquis he's a veteran pitcher, been around the block a few times. He knows what it's going to take to get him ready to pitch. So for a veteran pitcher to miss a little bit of time in spring isn't as big a deal as a young guy trying to make the team.
Parmalee bobbles it momentarily, gets the out, and on the play, Keppinger goes to second. Sharply hit right to Parmalee for out number 2.
Good swing right there by Molina. Parmalee knocking the ball down, and no panic, just pick it up. In another year, he may try to get that out at second base, knowing Mr. Molina doesn't run too well, Dick.
Here is Elliot Johnson going to pop up to Valencia his first time up. Breaking ball in the dirt, ball 1.
Good stop by Joe right there. The one thing when you see Joe catching right now, you can tell his legs feel comfortable. He's able to move that ball right there. He slid over and blocked that ball easily with no problem. You can tell by the way Joe's running around the field, by the way he was taking ground balls the other day at first base, that his legs are healthy, and he's in a, you can just tell when a guy is healthy and happy and running around the field, it's outstanding. You'll see this block by Joe Mauer right here. Now this is a breaking ball down and into the lefty, and watch Joe get right to his knees right away. That was pretty good glove work, more than it was knees, but he's able to get down and feel comfortable with his knees going to the ground. Where last year it seemed like there were times where his legs were pretty sore and he wasn't moving as good as he is right now around the field.
Joe worked very hard during the offseason to prepare himself for spring training. Last year that wasn't the case because of the lateness of the knee surgery. He wasn't able to do the workouts, and as he told me a couple of weeks ago, last year in March he was still getting injections of that lubricant into the knee joint, and he hasn't had one of those since last March. So all in all, he's looking more like Joe Mauer than he did at any time last year.
Right, and we were down here in January, you and I both, with fantasy camp, and he was down here working out with Perry, our strength coach, and running around the field and hitting and doing all the stuff that he was going to need to get prepared.
Golfed out of here. A 2-run mammoth home run to right by Elliot Johnson, and the Rays have erupted for 7 early runs against Scott Baker. And that's going to be the end of the day for Baker. Jeff Manship has been warming up, and he'll be brought in here in the 3rd inning.
The one thing you don't want to do to a left-handed hitter is make a mistake down and in, and right there Bake made a mistake, and Mr. Johnson splashed down in right field in the pond.
So as Baker comes off, the numbers not good, not what the Twins had hoped for. He was unable to complete 3 innings, and Jeff Manship will pitch next. What to expect from Scott Baker today, that he was able to pitch into but not through the third inning, isn't what anyone wanted. And then you add up the 7 earned runs, the pair of doubles and the pair of home runs, and all in all, a disappointing game for Scott.
Yeah, Baker, early in the game, Dick, we saw his velocity wasn't where we're accustomed to seeing it, which wasn't that alarming after not pitching that much so far this spring. But as the game has gone on in the second and third inning, his location had kind of suffered a little bit. Started throwing the ball more to the middle of the plate, and he's been getting hit around a little bit, or did get hit around a little bit. But still, to me, the most important thing is to see how he's feeling. After this game, his arm strength will get better. He'll be able to drive that fastball where he wants to instead of trying to just point it in there. And the same thing with that last breaking ball he threw to Johnson. That's just a kind of a get me over, down and in breaking ball, and we know Bake has a much better breaking pitch than that.
1-1 to Rhymes. Check swing from Jeff Manship, 2-1. Well, you do the math. Today is the 26th. Baker presumably could make 2 more starts down here before he'd be asked to pitch at Target Field against the Angels in the first week of the season. Tap foul, 2-2. So if physically everything is okay, in other words, as unsightly as the numbers were today for Scott, if he comes out of this and his elbow feels fine and he simply needs to get some work in, I think there'll be a, what do they say in the insurance business, accident forgiveness? Yeah. I mean, you're going to forgive a rough outing like this, right, as long as physically he is okay. Foul back. Two and two to Rhymes. Baker unable to get the third out of the second inning. All the damage the Rays did came with 2 out, and then similarly here in the third inning, 1 run allowed, 2 were out, and Manship just missed the corner. Full count.
Good fastball right there by Jeff. Just missed the inside corner. This had to hit Joe's glove. I got a feeling in another week that's going to be called strike 3.
Tap foul. Field and Culbreth calling the balls and strikes.
Fielding, I always thought was very good. Ball strike umpire, very fair. Today, to me, there were times where he got a little tight. He called Joe out on a backdoor breaking ball. I thought could have been away, but Field and Culbreth always been a very good umpire here in the American League.
Manship will try again on 3 and 2. And another one tap foul. Rhymes had a similar at bat his first time up against Baker. He got to 2 strikes, and then things just kind of kept being prolonged until Rhymes hit a little flare to left for a base hit. And he missed. So again, Rhymes ends up at first base after fouling off some 2-strike pitches. That'll bring up Jesus Feliciano.
Jesus Feliciano.
Feliciano singled in the second. In front of Zobrist and his grand slam. And Manship delivers strike 1.
Jeff Manship, one of those guys. I always watched him pitch, Dick, and I always thought he had great arm action, very good stuff. You know, and it's when is he going to turn the corner and really be one of those guys that is a consistent big league pitcher?
Casilla fields the ground ball, throws to Parmalee, and that wraps up the third inning. There was a pitching change, and there were 3 more Ray runs. Scott Baker. They lead it 7-1. Ryan Doman with a home run for the Twins. You can submit a question or comment to us online again this year at carsoup.com/baseball. Get online. We'll be answering questions all through the Twins season this year. Today's question comes from Patrick in Minnetonka. The question is, what do we think of the new playoff system in Major League Baseball? In a nutshell, there will be 2 wild cards and not one in each league, and the 2 wild card teams will play a 1-game play-in. Reference point for Twins fans, basically it's game 163 that the Twins played in against the White Sox one year and the Tigers the next. Your thoughts, sir?
I think it will make for some interesting play for game 163 for the 2 cities that are gonna, and 2 teams that are going to be able to play in that game. I've always been more of a traditionalist, Dick, and liking traditional playoff format, but I definitely think this will extend the race down the month of September and make it interesting. And so, you know, if it makes for better baseball for more cities, I'm all for it.
I think it's important to point out that why this is happening, and to me, the biggest reason it's happening is because the ratings for games 163 in Chicago and at home at the Metrodome against Detroit were so huge. I think those ratings caught a lot of people's attention. Some would say that game 163, the one the Twins had against the Tigers, was such an epic game. It maybe did more for the game of baseball than any postseason game that followed that year in terms of, you know, increasing fan interest. It was such an epic battle and such a wonderful game to watch. Carroll striking out, 1 down. That'll bring up Bauer.
I know we did that game. You and Bert did it. And I was part of the broadcast with our pre and post game and during the game. And I remember going down below behind home plate at the Metrodome and watching Jim Leland climb the walls in the dugout and thinking they're going to win. And then the Twins would go, you know, it's just great game. Both of those games, the White Sox game, great pitch game by Blackburn, and Jimmy Thome hits the home run and 1-0 game, and both great ball games.
Great throw from Ken Griffey Jr. in center to A.J. Pierzynski to get Michael Kadire at the plate. 1 strike to Joe Mauer. And a fastball up. Mauer called out on strikes his first time up.
Had a chance to visit with Joe today about his swing, and we talked about it a little earlier. But the progression of Joe early in camp, hitting the ball the other way and really getting what's kind of been the natural thing for him of hitting that ball the other way and getting that locked in. And as spring goes along, you see him hit more balls to middle in batting practice. And now all of a sudden today, when you look at the right field part of the field, finally he's feeling like his hands and his top hand is able to get through his swing enough to keep the ball, to hit the ball to right field and keep it fair and not just hook it over there. So Joe really starting to heat up. That's a good swing right there. But starting to feel like he's about ready for the season.
Take a look at this swing. He tried to turn on a belt-high fastball, and that's the swing the Twins want to see more of. And I think Twins fans will see more of those aggressive pull swings as Mauer's hip will allow him to do that more. People tend to forget that was one of the issues last year too. Ooh, there's another called 3rd strike with Neiman singeing the inside corner, out number 2. So Justin Morneau's spent almost the last 2 weeks in the DH spot. That begs the question, what are his prospects of playing first base?
Obviously, my goal coming into spring was to be our first baseman, to play first base, and feel like I could help us win over there. But the ultimate goal is playing as many games as possible and getting as many at-bats as possible and being healthy enough to play 162 games. And whatever the best number of games that is for everybody, you know, allowing Joe time to go over there and play first, and allowing, you know, if we get Doman in the lineup, by allowing him to play first, or whoever it is, you know, this team's best suited with all of us getting the most amount of at-bats as we can. And whatever that number is, I can't put a number on it, but, you know, I just want to be healthy enough to play every day.
Lifted down the left field line, a foul ball, and the third baseman Longoria covered his head, his ears. He looked up into the sun and saw nothing but the sun. Had no idea where the baseball was.
That's one of them. Oh, help me, Jesus. Don't hit me in the head with this ball. I've been there before on this field.
So 1-1 to Morneau. Longoria had his spring training start late because he was hit in the hand by a pitch. Now, late in March, he doesn't want to have something freakish happen that'll keep him out of the opening day lineup. Big swing and a foul.
I'm talking about Justin earlier, Dick. He's a guy that loves to play the game. He loves to be out there. He feels better as the first baseman, offensively and defensively, when he's out there. But what he said makes a lot of sense. For him to be out there and able to be in that box for 160 games is going to mean a lot to this offense. And I think for Ron Gardner, we saw last year how important it is to have those two guys playing every day.
Pretty good third inning for Jeff Neiman. He strikes out the side. Rays in front. We go to the fourth inning. Happy to have Twins manager Ron Gardenhire with us. And Gardy got about a week and a half left to this point. How has camp overall gone for you?
We've had some fun. Some guys are running around pretty good. We're seeing a lot of people. We had a lot of people. So we've been seeing a lot of different people and moving people around. And been a lot of hard work. We've got a lot of healthy guys, which is very important.
Ronnie, going into camp, you talked about getting back to the fundamentals, and we all of us have put a uniform on or been around the Twins way. Fundamentally, how do you think your team is at this point of spring training with all the extra work?
Well, we've actually played pretty good. We've caught the ball pretty decent. We've had a few ball games here and there that got a little ugly and we got a little excited. But, you know, for the most part, these guys have really gotten after it. And I think we all know last year was an ugly year, and no one wants to be a part of something like that again. So I think there's been a lot of good hard work.
Specifically, Gardy, Scott Baker today, 7 earned runs, less than 3 innings worked. But what did you think of his game today?
Well, that's kind of a tough one. The ball was flying around pretty good. So, you know what? He got his pitches in. We wanted to get him over 50 pitches or somewhere near them. He's missed some time, and the big thing is pitch count. And, you know, he was up in his zone, and he was misfiring, and he got behind, and they hit some balls. But, you know, the important thing is if he's going to be healthy, and we got some innings in him, and we got some pitches, and we got to count to where Andy wanted it.
Yeah, but to that end, he came out of the game and his elbow felt fine, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So, you know, I know he wasn't happy, and I thought, you know, the pace was too slow. He's got to get back on the mound and throw the ball. But like I said, his first time back out there in a while, he was down on a B game, and, you know, too many pitches up in the zone, and they're whacking them, and they're still whacking them as we stand here and talk.
Well, Zobrist is whacking him. What are we going to do to get this guy out when the bell rings here?
You know what? We've got some plans for him. You know what? The good thing is here in spring training, you watch and you see what happens, and we've got a pretty good idea on what we need to do to him once we get to the season. And he's a great hitter. The guy can, you know, switch hitter, and He's a heck of a baseball player, so you've got to come up with some plans. And talking with, Carl and guys like that sitting here as we're going along, we got a pretty good plan on what we're going to try to do. We just don't want to show him now, obviously, because he's hitting everything we throw.
Yeah, walk him, Skipper.
Yeah, there you go. Walk him with the bases loaded. I love it.
No, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Luke Scott, the hitter, and he takes strike one from Jeff Manship. Gardy, specifically the move of Josh Willingham from right field to left, what led to that?
Well, it's a natural for him, and watching the other guys, I put Dooms out there in left field, and he'd never played out there, and Ben Revere scuffled out in left field a little bit, missing balls, and I said, you know what, we might as well put as many people in the right places, and I like Willie out there in left field. He feels really comfortable out there. The rest of them can go out in right field. They're more comfortable out there. We've had the situation with Morney, the DH slot, and if that ends up the case, if we don't get him back at first base, then we've got a lot of different things we've got to shift around. And so I just decided to put him out there, and he's pretty comfortable with it. He likes the idea of that. And so, you know what? That's one less spot we're going to have to worry about.
Ronnie, you got Parmalee at first base today with Justin as your designated hitter. How does Parmalee compare at first base with some guys you had there in the past? Seems like he's doing a pretty good job.
Absolutely, and he almost knocked Lexi down there. That was perfect timing, guys. Perfect timing. You guys must. Is this taped?
No.
It's not a tape game, so it's real live. So he's doing great. He's worked really, really hard. The young man has been swinging as good as anybody in camp. He's worked really hard on his defense. Very receptive to what you're trying to get him to do and say. He can also play the outfield. We put him out in right field, and he runs around like a natural. So we saw him at the end last year. He played well. He's doing everything he can to make this ball club, and he's got a very good chance of staying with us. We really like this young man.
Evan Longoria, the hitter, one out, one man on here in the fourth. Dick Bramer, Ron Coomer, joined by Twins manager Ron Gardenhire. Gardy, just getting back to Justin Morneau's situation, will we see him at first base later in spring training here?
It depends on how long you're down here, Dick. I don't know how long you get to stay.
Tomorrow.
Well, you probably won't then.
I'll be here.
Some of us might. We're just going to kind of wait, and you know what? As we all know, and as we said all along, our big thing is to get this young man, 500-600 at bats, whatever it takes to do that. If it's DHing him, we'll do that. He's played first base early in camp. He felt fine. He did fine. Right now, I saw him slide over by the dugout one play, and I looked at him and I said, "What do you think?" And he said, "Well, he's trying to get these surgeries and all those rehab things healthy, and if he goes out there diving around, that's not going to happen. So we're letting him get healthy. We'll see once we start the season."
1-2 to Longoria. Longoria with a double and a run scored his last time up.
Coom, it almost happened. I almost told you what you could do with these headphones.
Yeah, I know.
I told you.
That line drive up the middle, I thought we were going to get one.
You're fixing to.
Gardy.
There we go.
Thank you. We got a double play grounder. Good time to let you go.
Very nice, guys. Thanks. All right.
On Fox Sports North is brought to you by Grand Casino. The best stories start here. By Sanford Health. And by Window Concepts of Minnesota. The weather this March has been great for a lot of things, including baseball teams trying to get their work in. There's been very little weather interruption. The Twins had a couple of rain delays in their game yesterday in Jupiter, Florida, and that's really been about it. Everybody's been able to get their work done. And Jeff Neiman has had a very good second trip through the Twins batting order so far. He'll face Ryan Domit, who had a long home run against him his first time up. Up and away, ball one.
And Neiman's thrown the ball, like you said, Dick, very well. He's had a good two-seam fastball. He's been able to move in and out. And at 6'11", early, in spring training, he's not exactly the easiest guy to figure out.
Pena gets the line drive off the bat of Domit, one away. A no-doubter off the bat of Ryan Domit in the second inning.
The feeling we're going to see a few of those this year from Ryan Domit. He's watched him take BP today and met him today for the first time. And big, strong guy, very good swing. And can he hit the ball a long way?
Here's Valencia, went down swinging in the second. Strike on the outside corner. And the Rays put an infield shift on for Valencia. We saw them do that against Valencia in Port Charlotte during one of our earlier telecasts, with Pena, the first baseman, almost playing midway between first and second base, well off the first base bag. 1-1. Roller to Longoria for out number 2. If you act today, you can get a steal of a deal on Twins Red Sox tickets for the game at Target Field on April 25th for a limited time. A $31 home plate view seat is just $23. Seats against the Red Sox are available by calling 833-TWINS or log on to twinsbaseball.com. The offer is good for a limited time. Of course, the Red Sox and Twins both make their spring training home here in Fort Myers. The Red Sox have a brand new home, JetBlue Park. And there's some talk that their old ballpark, City of Palms Park, might be inhabited by the Washington Nationals. So there might be even more spring training options for baseball fans in this part of the world. Parmelee takes a strike, 1-1. I talked with Parmelee before the game today, and yeah, he's the first baseman, and he told me that he has spent a lot of time early in his minor league career in right field. But again, you heard Ron Gardenhire say what we were talking about before. I mean, he's done so well in camp. He's picked up right where he left off in September. It's a cliche in baseball. You don't put much stock in September numbers, and you don't put much stock in March numbers. But when you back up good September numbers with good March numbers, it might suggest that this guy's ready to be a player. Off the end of the bat, a little doink to short center. That's going to die for a base hit. So Parmelee has been stinging the ball all March. Doesn't sting it here, but he still gets a base hit.
Well, and you look at his at-bats, and he had quality at-bats, and that's the one thing we talked about last September, is he had quality at-bats. He was able to extend his at-bat. This is a little breaking ball he hits off the end of the bat for a little bloop base hit, but he's able to handle himself in the big leagues defensively, and I know that's very important to the Minnesota Twins. But offensively, the thing that was impressive, he was able to take some pitches and hit the ball the other way and spray the ball around the field. When they came in, he was able to hook the ball a little bit. So to me, when you're talking about a guy who can use the whole field offensively, understand what a quality at bat means and able to do that, and then be able to add something defensively, he's putting together, a couple months, like you said, Dick, where he's really impressed Ron Gardenhire.
There's a little nubber, and that's a foul ball. Molina just picked it up on the other side of the chalk line. So 2 strikes to Ben Revere. Let's imagine a world out there where Morneau spends most of his time, at least in the first month or 2 of the season, as the designated hitter. Well, the only thing that would allow that to be a luxury, if you will, to let him get some at bats and get his timing back is having someone who can take over at first base, like Parmalee might be given that chance, and take the opportunity and run with it. And he's done nothing either in September last year or March this year to discourage the idea that he's able to handle it. 2 strikes. And now a ball. Revere had that opportunity last summer. He did a good job when Span was out of the lineup. Saw some time in left field, primarily the Twins center fielder. Line foul into the Twins bullpen area.
See, and that's the one thing you see out of Ben Revere. You see it out of Chris Parmalee, his last at bat. You get behind in the count, and the guy who's throwing the ball really well, you're able to let that ball get deep and shoot the ball the other way and extend your at bat, and hopefully Neiman will make a mistake. When guys are rushing and they're jumping around at home plate, you're unable to hit that ball that's a good pitch, foul, and foul it off and extend your at bat. And you know, these 2 guys have been able to do that in this past year or so.
2-2 to Revere.
Twins have another guy that's getting close, Joe Benson, who we may see later today. You know, a little more excited at home plate. You know, still a little bit of progress to be made by Joe. But here, a good breaking ball right there by Neiman, and Revere fouls it off and keeps his at bat going.
All the things we said about Will Rhymes for the Rays, just prolonging the at bat and maybe ending up at first base. That's what Revere's trying to do here.
You know, when you get into April and May, and it's so important for your guys in the bottom of the lineup, like a Revere, like a Parmalee. Now, right here, this has been probably a 6-pitch, 7-pitch at bat, and now all of a sudden you do that a few times and you get your starting pitcher out in the 5th inning, and most of the time, middle relief is not exactly the strong point for every major league team, and now you've got a 3-2 count, and Ben has really done a good job with his at bat.
And one thing the Twins would like him to do is to take a page from Denard Span's book and draw more walks. And so far, this has been a good plate appearance. He fell behind, flipped some balls foul, and now he's got a full count. 2-away, Parmalee will take off. There he goes. And there's another foul ball.
You see Ben right there smacking his bat. That was a pitch he probably could have put in play and done something with. But when your approach, Dick, is to make sure you're letting that ball get deep so you don't jump at it. You don't want to jump at the ball when you got 2 strikes. He lets that ball get deep. That one got a little deep, a little too deep, but he's still got his at bat going.
He's had 3 2-strike fouls here in this plate appearance. Trying to keep the inning alive for Casilla.
Great at bat, 8-pitch at bat so far for Ben Revere.
And he drives it to right. And it'll drop for a hit. Parmalee to third, and Revere held to a single. So a little fly ball to right. And Zobrist fields it on the first hop, and Revere's rewarded for that nice plate appearance.
Great plate appearance, ball down and in, and he just hooks it, just puts the barrel of the bat down there on the ball. We'll see right here. You know, just a quality swing. Nothing, you know, nothing too much. Didn't try to overdo it. Just puts the barrel on it. Zobrist got a very bad jump on that ball. I don't think he saw that ball very well, Dick, in right field. That's a ball during the season he may end up catching. But with that being said, great at bat by Ben, and now you got first and third and 2 outs and Lexi up, and you got speed on the bases at first base.
Molina out to talk to Neiman. Now Neiman in the 2nd inning was handed a 4-0 lead. Gave up a leadoff home run to Domit, then walked 2 of the next 3 batters, and he fell behind Casilla 3-1. And it looked for all the world like Neiman was going to spit up a big early lead, but he got Casilla to pop up on a 3-1 pitch. Ended up getting out of the inning in the 2nd. Twins haven't really threatened since then until now. A pair of 2-out singles, and Casilla's back at the plate. Big hook missing, ball 1. 73 pitches for Neiman so far on the day.
thought the big key in that at bat that you were talking about with Lexi, he got to the 2-0 count and Neiman threw a fastball right down the middle and he took it, and then he swung at a pitch that wasn't a very good pitch to hit 2-1 and ended up popping it out.
Got a pitch up and fouled it to the backstop. 1-1. You know, it's one thing Joe Vavra has tried to work with everybody up and down the lineup. When you are in a favorable count, you know, grip it and rip it, to John Daly's slogan on the golf course. And just go ahead and try to do some damage. Half swing, I think he went. They'll appeal, and it's a strike. 1-2.
Yeah, we've said this early in the game, and you know, the 6'11" or 6'10" Neiman looks like he's 8 feet tall when he's up on that mound. He had a lot of check swings and that high fastball, high riding fastball up out of the zone, tough to lay off of. If you can get a fastball up but in the strike zone, you got a chance against him.
1-2. And just off the plate, 2-2 with Casilla taking a close pitch. We'll see if Casilla can be a good 2-strike hitter here, as Revere was.
Good backdoor breaking ball right there by Neiman. A great take by Lexi.
And now 3-2. Another breaking pitch missing. So Revere, with the full count, 2 out, will take off at first. Span on deck.
Here's where being athletic really comes into play. Lexi, it's a long single, and Ben has a great chance of scoring. It's something the Twins have really wanted, is to be an athletic team.
Fouled straight back. Twins finding themselves down big to the Rays, 7-1. The Rays getting some productive 2-out hits. A grand slam in the second, a 2-run home run in the third, all with 2 outs, and now Casilla trying to deliver a 2-out hit for the Twins here in the fourth. Takes ball 4 and loaded up for Span. So a line out to first, a ground ball to third, and then the Twins go single walk. And Jim Hickey, the pitching coach, is going to come to the mound. The 7, 8, and 9 batters conspire to fill the bases, and Span has a chance to get the Twins back in the ball game here. Twins and Rays play each other 9 times this year. This is meeting number 7. And you can set your compass due north Thursday nights on Fox Sports North. Join host Bill Shirk and Laura Schara as they take a look at the stories and adventures of outdoor enthusiasts in the upper Midwest. Due North Outdoors, Thursdays at 6 only on Fox Sports North.
Now batting center fielder, Denard Span.
Twins and Red Sox play each other 6 times. And now Neiman trying to finish up the 4th inning of work. He's gotten Span twice, once on a ground ball to second, once on a fly ball to center.
I would anticipate Neiman trying to be aggressive with his fastball, maybe coming in on Denard and throwing some strikes with his heater.
One hopper to Longoria, who will go to the bag to end the inning. Well, Span got the barrel of the bat on it, sent it sharply to Longoria, and the Twins leave the bases full. In front, 7-1. We go to the 5th inning, and baseball just one of the tourist attractions here in Southwest Florida. We're happy to have Betsy Clayton, who's been a frequent visitor in our Twins telecasts over the years, to join us to talk about the parks and recreation, specifically the waterways of the area here, both fresh and salt water. Minnesota, as you know, is a great boating area and fishing area, but you have a lot of the same attractions down here, don't you?
Yes, and it's fun this time of year because I get so many phone calls from Twins fans who are going boating.
Yeah. Well, the Twins will bring Liam Hendriks into the ball game here with Carlos Pena standing in the box. So you get calls from those Minnesotans, and are they interested in freshwater fishing and boating, or do they want to get out in the Gulf?
No, I think they enjoy our back bays.
Yeah.
They want to see those dolphins and maybe see those lumbering manatees, a few leggy wading birds thrown in, and it's a good day.
What was that last one?
Leggy wading birds.
Excuse me?
Yeah, like the herons and all that. Okay, all right.
Trying to make it a little more sexy, though.
1-0 to Carlos
The heron
Pena.
being sexy, okay. But I was going to ask, I've gone on a couple tours through the years of being down here in Fort Myers. What are some of the other things? I always, us Chicago guys, the alligator, I saw one out there yesterday by the golf course. What other, wildlife do you see for a Midwesterner going around through the waterways here in Fort Myers?
Well, and you're right. You might be more likely to see an alligator on a golf course than in our back bays, because alligators like fresh water, and our back bays are saltwater and brackish water. But you will see quite a few of your pelicans, the herons. You see a lot of the shells you find on the beach. You'll see them alive down underneath your kayak. Starfish, conch, those kinds of things.
2-1 to Pena, and a strike on the inside corner, with Hendriks asked to pitch the next 3, 4, maybe even 5 innings. Well, Betsy, my family and I went to the beach a couple weeks ago. We saw dolphins. At least I saw fins sticking out of the water. Everybody said they were dolphins. They weren't sharks, right?
Yeah, we don't really do that great white thing here.
Yeah, okay, good. So they were dolphins, and then we saw a manatee come by as well. And I'd seen dolphins here many times before, but I hadn't seen manatees. That's quite a unique sight.
It's been a warm spring, so they kind of tend to spread out, and you can find them just about anywhere.
This one was going in about 2 feet of water.
Yeah, they don't know they're so big, do they? I'm not sure their brains are very big. But I guess everybody ends up with their backside out of the water once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
They'll pretty much go where the grass is. They just like to eat grass.
And Hendriks goes down and in with a hard fastball, and Pena swings over the top, one gone.
But if you're out there in a kayak, the manatees tend to be kind of curious, like puppy dogs. They'll come up alongside your boat. Yeah, they'll look at you with their little beady eyes and their whiskery noses, and sometimes they'll rub their skin against your paddle because they must be itchy or something.
Really?
Do we need to panic at all when we're out in a kayak or a canoe when that's happening?
No, you just need to make sure you don't pet them, because that's a federal offense. But they they can pet you.
They can pet you, but you can't pet them, and you go to jail if you do it. I get it. Okay.
Jeff Keppinger, the hitter, 1-0 the count from Hendriks to Keppinger. Keppinger drove in a run with a single his last time up, and he lines this one foul. He's got Tim Cheetah, who's moved from the first base line to the third base line umpiring.
I would think things have been very good with the beautiful weather we've had.
Yes, it's been a nice
tours and everything has gone real well.
Warm spring, yeah. And even if you're a Twins fan and you've been down here and maybe gone on a pontoon boat or in a power boat, once you slip into a kayak or canoe, you're kind of belly button level with wildlife. So you tend to notice things more like you're paddling through a children's storybook.
Every once in a while in Minnesota, you'll see some kayakers out on the lakes. Canoes, I think tend to be a little bit more popular.
Yes.
But just looking around the sporting goods stores here, and kayaking seems to be the ground ball and a base hit to right field. Kayaking seems to be one of the better recreational activities here in this part of the world.
And the new hot thing is stand-up paddleboarding. I'm sure you guys have seen that, because you see that in urban areas, freshwater, saltwater. We have our first stand-up paddleboard race of the season coming up May 5th, if there's any stragglers that didn't go home for baseball season.
Okay. Where will you be doing that?
It's going to be at Crescent Beach, which is right down on Fort Myers Beach, and we'll have lots of free demonstration boards, too, so people can try it without necessarily racing.
Now, that standing board, is that for some of us who have never done that, and for me especially, I don't know if a board is going to actually be something I want to stand on in water. Pretty easy to do?
Yeah, well, they're pretty stable, and they're wide. And
pretty stable or real stable? I'm looking for real stable.
I think you could do it. Plus, you can also sit on them or be on your knees. You can take your dog on them, too.
There we go.
The batter is Jose Molina. He has reached on a walk and scored a run. He fouls the first pitch back. And then he hit a hard smash to Parmalee for out number 2 in the 3rd inning. Well, with the incredible weather that this part of the country has had, really going back at least into January, it's been unseasonably warm and predictable. We haven't had much cold weather or rain at all.
No wind either.
And today has been maybe one of the calmest days, it seems like. Very wonderful weather here. So the line foul over the dugout. And we'll hope everybody is okay down that way. Molina with a screaming line drive just over the roof of the Tampa Bay dugout. And everybody concerned about a fan that was hit by that foul ball. Well, with the great weather that you have had here in this part of the world, really no reason for people who are down here for any length of time to not break things up. We encourage them, of course, to come to the ballpark and follow the Twins. But
well, the beauty of the waterway trail here is that you can go out for just an hour or two and
Right.
then get cleaned up and come to the ball game. Pretty much, if you just paddle a mile, there's so much to see. You would feel like you've been on a little vacation.
still a little break in the action here, and everyone trying to compose themselves and get back to focusing on baseball, and some attention being paid to the fan at the end of the Tampa Bay dugout.
The other thing you can do when you're on baseball breaks here is bird watch. 6 Mile Cypress Sluice right across the road. There's some great birding that goes on in the stadium. I know the Minnesotans are into their birds too.
Yes. 2 strikes to Jose Molina. Nice block by Mauer on a breaking pitch in the dirt. How do the boating options change, if at all, once we roll into the summer months here? Because I know that this is such a popular destination for Minnesotans this time of year, but in the summertime, I know it gets a little bit more hot and humid down here.
Yeah, the water temperature is like bath water, though. So up north, when you paddle, you got to worry about that chilly water running down your paddle blade to your armpits. And here, it's not chilly.
And Casilla can't pull the trigger on the throw with an aggressive slide by Keppinger, but Molina gets down the line so slowly. Casilla might have been able to do a somersault and still throwing Molina out.
Very good breakup of the double play going in. This one of them slow 2 hoppers is short. And Lexi just coming across the bag, not knowing he was going to get taken out probably to that extent. If he could have came off the bag a little more aggressive, might have had a little better chance. But, tough play right there for Lexi. Get it out and go for the next guy.
Sean Rodriguez was the runner forced at second base. And now Hendricks delivers strike 1 to Elliott Johnson. Johnson golfed a 2-run home run out against Scott Baker in the 3rd inning. Johnson was the last man Baker faced before leaving with 2 outs in the 3rd. Down low, 1-1. Hendricks is in a unique situation. He's vying for a spot in the rotation that might not exist if Scott Baker's elbow stays sound and Baker's able to take his turn in the rotation in the first week of the season. Twins have a rotation that's pretty well set. Hendricks covers the bag, gives up a 1-out single. No damage done, and our thanks to Betsy Clayton from the Lee County Parks and Recreation Department. Good to see you again, Betsy.
Thank you.
All right. for spring training and the regular season at the official online shop of the Twins. The largest selection of authentic spring training gear, including clubhouse caps and t-shirts, jerseys, sweatshirts, and more. Get set for spring at the official source, the TwinsBaseball.com shop. Well, Jeff Neiman was given an early 4-0 lead. It was 4-1. Then the Rays expanded it to 7-1. And well, Neiman's had a tough time getting the bottom third of the Twins lineup out, but he's not given up that big at bat that the Rays were able to get twice against Scott Baker.
That's the one thing about Neiman. He's got such good stuff that occasionally gets a little erratic around the strike zone. And, you know, some of our guys in the bottom of the lineup, Ben Revere, you know, have had some quality at bats. Parmale's had some. But he's able to make that one pitch, Dick, and that's the one thing that's always kept him in a game and allowed him to get deeper into a ball game. He's always been able to make that one pitch to get himself out of an inning.
And the first pitch to Jamie Carroll missing, ball one. The round of applause you're hearing is for the fan who was hit by the foul ball, getting up and out of the seating area largely under his own power. Here's a liner to left center. And the first out caught by left fielder Will Rhymes, one away. The fan was being tended to, and it's always good to see a fan take the business end of a foul ball and able to get up under their own power. One away, and here's Joe Mauer. Mauer has, uncharacteristically for him, not only struck out twice, but done so looking. Strike one. Mauer doing the catching. He said last year in spring training he only caught about parts of 9 games. As the Twins are trying to, in its own way, put together an accelerated program for him to get him ready for the regular season. And of course, he was never able to catch up after the November knee surgery. Just off the plate, 1 and 2.
Well, and there comes a time where some guys at some positions, and I know with the issues I've had with my knees through the years, you're able to come to camp and kind of work your way into shape because you've had some injuries with your knee or knee surgery. Catching is one of those positions, Dick, that's very difficult to do that.
Mauer flares one into left center. He gets a base hit. And that'll bring Morneau to the plate.
And this is one of those things where great hitters are able to get these hits. This is a really good fastball. In a little two-seamer, started out at Joe and comes back over the plate. And Joe just inside outs that ball for a base hit. You know, through the years, you've seen the Wade Boggs and Tony Gwynns and some of those guys. They're able to fight those pitches off and not hook them and break your bat. And Joe just inside outs it for a little base hit and gives you a chance to get a man on base for the big boppers coming up.
Here's Morneau. Big swing on a pitch in the dirt. Talking with Justin before the game today, he reminded me that he actually started his Twins career as the designated hitter. Doug Minkiewicz was still on the team. Minkiewicz, of course, a former Gold Glove winner, was at the time the best fielding first baseman, not just on the Twins, but in the league. And so Morneau, when he played, was the designated hitter. He estimated to me that he has had anywhere in the neighborhood of 400 to 500 at-bats as the designated hitter. And I'm sure some people will look up, be able to find out very quickly how he's done as a designated hitter. In his mind, he has no problem DHing. Some players just don't embrace the role, but of course Justin, because of his other injury situations, has had to do that over the last few years more often than he'd like. This ball scalded to center, and that's not going to be caught. Mauer around second. He'll go to third. He'll be held there. Morneau showing the type of power to all fields that he showed in his MVP season and a couple of years ago. And Justin telling us before the game today that his confidence seems to be growing with every day.
Confidence is starting to build, and the strength of my wrist, and that's been kind of one of the biggest problems early in the spring. Is it just, it's on schedule where they expected it to be, but it's not where I want it to be yet. But it's real close now, and it's come a long ways. And just getting ready and starting to get excited for that opening day in Baltimore that's coming quick.
And so Morneau taken out of the game after a ringing double to straightaway center field. Here's Ryan Domit with runners at second and third and one away. Pick off to second, and Holloman, the pinch runner, gets back.
Yeah, and you could see Justin just feeling better and better in batting practice in the games a few days ago, driving some balls to left center field. The last game, hit 2 home runs, one to the middle of the field. He pulled 1 ball. But in batting practice too, Dick, I know something you talk about a lot on the air is guys able to hitting the ball the other way, and especially the power guys. And that ball's away and maybe even off the plate away, and he's able to get a good extension. Obviously his wrist feeling pretty good to get the extension like that and drive the ball on the line 400 feet from home plate.
Dolman out in front, a swing and a miss. You know, the thing to remember about Morneau, and he didn't play as much or as well as he would like, but it's not like he was overmatched. Justin has never been a big strikeout guy. He has power, but even last year in 264 at bats, he struck out 44 times. But go back to his MVP season when he hit 321 and drove in 130 runs and hit 34 home runs. He only struck out 93 times. So he's a contact hitter for a power hitter. He's a contact hitter, and his contact was just off a little bit last year. And so the hope is, as his swing gets grooved right now as the designated hitter, that we'll be seeing more of this.
Right, and this is him being able to cover the pitch away and drive the ball to the middle of the field. Now this is a ball that you want this ball to get deep, Dick, and if you see his contact is in the middle of his body, perfect for a power hitter and what you want to do, not let that ball get too deep, and he's able to drive it to the middle.
Dolman lifts a fly ball to center, and that will score a run, and Holloman is going to try to tag from second base, and he is out. A lackadaisical play by the center fielder Feliciano, and the Twins nearly took advantage of it. 1 run scored, and whether Feliciano lost track of the outs or not, he'll hear about it when he gets to the Tampa Bay dugout. won games. Here's a bouncer to Parmalee, who gets a nice room service hop. 2 down. And Ron Coomer will be in the chair for some of the games that Burt misses. Roy Smalley will be there, Tom Kelly. So we're looking forward to televising 150 regular season games on Fox Sports North, and then there'll be another 6 that are on Fox Network, and maybe some other games will be picked up. The bottom line is right now only 6 Twins games this year won't be on local television, so you'll get a steady diet of Twins baseball. And I know so many of you are anxious for the season to get started. As Bert and I were commenting during an earlier telecast, the best way to forget about a bad season is to start the next one.
Let's get it rolling. We've had great weather back home. Hopefully it'll continue. And the Twins, the way they're looking in spring, it'll be a lot different ball club that you're going to look at this year than we had last year. A lot of healthy bodies going into the 2012 season.
You know, one thing that's interesting, and Hendricks trying to figure out a way to get Zobrist out here. You look at the schedule, and it's interesting in a lot of fronts. There are only 3 of the first 35 games that the Twins will play against American League Central opponents. So obviously you have an odd number of teams in a division. Somebody oftentimes gets a big break from divisional play, and that is the Twins. In the first month and a half of the season, roughly, through May 13th, the Twins have just one 3-game series within the division against Kansas City. They'll play the Angels 10 times over that period of time, or 9 times, I should say. And Tampa Bay on the schedule, Seattle, Texas. So I'm not sure what that means. As I said the other day, when you lose 99 games one year, every month of the schedule the next year is tough. But it's just an oddity in the schedule. Zobrist ends up walking. He's lifted for a pinch runner, and here's Scott.
I think when you're looking at the Twins' schedule, more so than anything, as you're saying, the Twins feel like they're back to being the Minnesota Twins again, going into a season with their star players as of today healthy and ready to go. And if that's the case, the Twins feel like they match up well against anybody. And last year we didn't have that, and because of it, you get 99 losses.
You know, the Rays are concerned about their health in spring training with Upton out, Desmond Jennings, Reed Brignac. I mean, they've got some of the cornerstone players of their team that got to the playoffs last year that are either hurt or off to slow starts because of early season injuries. Evan Longoria got hit, in the hand or a wrist by a pitch. He got a late start to his spring training. It really doesn't make any difference, it seems, whether it's the Twins, the Tigers, or the Yankees. If your payroll isn't on the field, it can get a little ugly, and that's what happened to the Twins last year. 1-2, just missing the inside corner.
And I really like the approach Ron Gardenhire had going into spring, and they got down here a little bit early. There was a big focus on the fundamentals of the game and making sure that you make the routine plays and you do the routine things that help you win ball games, and the Twins have really started to do that, and you're seeing it here in spring.
Florimon gets the force at second to end the top of the 6th. front, here's the Grand Casino story of the game so far.
One swing of the bat, little hook shot over the right field wall for a grand slam. Ryan Domet, big home run for the Twins, bombed the right field. And then once again, Johnson with a long home run to right field. Kind of been where all the scoring's come from.
It was Zobrist who hit the grand slam, but as Ron Gardenhire told us, the Twins do know how to get him out. They're just saving it for the regular season, right? Isn't that how you surmised or summarized what Gardy was saying regarding Zobrist?
And now Danny Valencia's hitting here. I don't know. Zobrist has been one of those guys, and we both commented on it. You know, he's always swung the bat well against the Minnesota Twins, and he's just a quality hitter. But let's hope he gets all those hits out of the way now.
And Valencia is retired at first. A line drive in and out of the glove of the shortstop Rodriguez, and then behind the bag, Rodriguez was able to spin and fire and get Valencia for the first out.
Yeah, Danny hitting against this shift. And line drive up the middle, that's usually a routine base hit, but because of that shift, you're seeing a lot of the Minnesota Twins right-handers trying to hit that ball that's away and hook it, and Danny being one of them for sure. So he's going to have to hit a little differently or look at the defense being a little different, because that's a line drive through the middle that everybody is expecting to be a base hit. And that's a right turn at first base for Danny Valencia.
Very nice recovery by Rodriguez after having the ball tear him out of his glove. Here's Sean Burroughs taking a fastball up, ball one. Burroughs still in camp, getting a chance to play some at third base. In this case, Burroughs is going to take over at first base, and he squirts one foul. Burroughs last year resurfaced in the big leagues with the Diamondbacks, got 78 at bats in 110 games and hit .273. Many of you know the story. Didn't play baseball for 3 years, had some personal issues he was dealing with. Ooh, got hit on the wrist by a pitch, and he'll take first base, and hopefully it got him down in the forearm area. Burroughs trots to first, and he'll be aboard with one out.
This is a bad one right here. You watch the ball go all the way back to the, hit him right in the forearm, and hopefully it got me to the forearm. Wow.
So Burroughs reaches first the hard way, and here's Ben Revere. Each situation is different, so we're not trying to make comparisons here, but Burroughs has resurfaced and dealt with his situation, and the Twins have hopes that he'll be a productive player for them. Matt Bush, on the other hand, for the Tampa Bay Rays, has run himself afoul of the law again, and the Rays have had their fill of that. And Bush was involved in a situation here in this part of Florida. Burroughs coming off because I think he felt the Twins wanted him to come off the field. Tony Leo, one of the Twins trainers, coming out. And Burroughs will be pinch run for, although I think he was prepared to stay in the game.
Well, Burroughs, one of those guys, he's trying to make a ball club, make an impression, wanting to stay in the game. And I think Gardy's seen enough of Burroughs this spring to know he's got a pretty quality player. And having a golf ball in your forearm probably isn't going to help things much right about now.
But, you know, in Burroughs' case, he's trying to prove that he can handle things over at first base to increase his versatility and value to the ball club. I don't think he wanted to come out there. Revere, the hitter. At any rate, Matt Bush has found himself in some deep trouble here with the law enforcement authorities, and so the Rays have had their fill of him. Bush earlier this year actually was the pitcher who drilled Evan Longoria in an inter-squad game, and the Rays were lucky to survive that incident without Longoria being shelved for a month or more. Luke Hughes is the pinch runner for the pinch hitter, Sean Burroughs. And Revere takes a strike.
Ben Revere with a great at-bat in his last at-bat, extending his at-bat. I want to say 9 pitches if I remember correctly, but just a quality at-bat. That's what you're looking for out of Ben Revere, hitting deep in this lineup.
And Ryan Reed is the Tampa Bay pitcher, and he delivers a strike on the outside corner, 2-2.
Ryan Reed, good arm, throwing in the low 90s so far with a good tail and fastball. Be a good time for Ben to look for that ball away and shoot that ball in that hole between short and third. He can get that ball away here. Molina coming in.
And Revere checks his swing, taps it foul. Now, I'm trying to remember in your Twins career when you first came to the ball club, you jumped into the Twins lineup mid-season, correct?
Correct. I was traded at the trade deadline at the end of August, yep, or the beginning of August.
2-2. Chop to short. Rodriguez plays the second hop. They get 1. No chance to get 2. The throw overthrown Pena, and Revere will go to second base. So Hughes forced at second base, and Revere will go to second on the throwing error.
Great job by Luke breaking up the double play and forcing the wild throw. Part of those little things Gardy has talked about doing things right, hustling around the field. Good job by Luke.
Well, you saw that in the third inning. Twins did not turn a double play and a ground ball that Molina hit. I guess that was in the 5th inning. Kept the inning alive. When a double play can be turned, it should be turned. In the case of Ben Revere, probably no throw would have been the best call there because he runs so well. 1-0 to Casilla. A foul out and a walk so far for the Twins second baseman. My point in asking you about your arrival to the Twins major league roster, when you came then to spring training that first year with the Twins, what were your thoughts in terms of how many at bats you wanted to get and what your workload preferably would be as someone who had a spot pretty secure on the team?
It's a tough question because as a young player or a player who hadn't been in the big leagues for a long period of time, you really wanted to make a good impression, and for me with Tom Kelly to show him that I started to understand a little bit about what the Twins wanted and what he wanted out of me. And so, my focus more so than offensively, because I think when I got traded here, people knew I could swing the bat and I was going to be a big league hitter. I think for me, I look over at that half field right here beyond the left field foul pole, and that's where I showed Tom Kelly I was a big league ball player. By going there and doing all the extra work and working really hard on my defensive skills and showing him that I was willing to put the time in to not only get to the big leagues but stay in the big leagues and be somebody he could trust putting out there at first or third base. So for me, Dick, it's probably more of my defensive skills in showing them than it was the number of at-bats I got.
1-2 to Alexi Casilla. And it's pulled just foul. Tom Kelly this year is going to have his number retired by the Twins, a well-deserved honor. But to your point about the field over here, and he has a street name for him out here in the parking lot. What they ought to do is name the field over here Tom Kelly Field. And for fans who have been here on non-game days in the month of March, they know of what I'm speaking. Tom is forever on that field hitting ground balls. Yesterday it was Joe Mauer, or the day before, hitting ground ball after ground ball to Joe Mauer at first base to, get his footwork lined up, whatever. But Tom is forever hitting fungos over on that field. And if they ever name that field for anybody, it ought to be the guy who's probably hit more fungos over there than anybody else.
If there was ever a field that should be named for somebody in the Twins organization, I can vouch for it. That should be Tom.
You're over there.
I was over there. Then after I got established here in the league and with the team, then it was Corey Koski. And Michael Kadire spent his time over there trying to figure out if he was going to play third or second. But that was one of the things that I really appreciated about the Twins organization is you felt like if they put you out there, you were going to get work and you were going to understand exactly what they wanted out of you defensively. And that's something I really enjoyed and still appreciate about the Twins.
Casilla puts it in play, but it's the third out of the 6th.
Minnesota Twins down 7-2 to the Rays. And this copyrighted telecast is presented by the authorities of the Minnesota Twins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Minnesota Twins, LLC.
That was Ron Coomer's voice, and over the course of the upcoming season, you'll be hearing a lot of that voice. And Bert Blyleven's voice, and Roy Smalley's voice, and Tom Kelly's voice. As we bring you 150 Twins regular season games. And how many of those Liam Hendriks will pitch in is up for some debate here. Evan Longoria is still in the lineup for the Rays because, in part, his season, spring training, Grapefruit League season, got off to a late start after being hit by a pitch. And Liam Hendriks trying to make an impression. The hope was that he would pitch 4, maybe even 5 innings here. He did make a start in Lakeland against the Tigers a few days ago. He's been, as they say, stretched out to perhaps finish the game. And he had a very impressive, I thought, outing against Detroit. Got into a little bit of trouble. Brennan Bosch hitting third in the Tiger lineup. And Hendriks threw him a couple of nasty changeups, ended up striking him out. This one pulled foul 2-2. Drew Butera doing the catching now for the Twins. Twins, not just in the pitching department, but among position players too, hoping to have more depth than they had a year ago. And Hendriks might fit under the category of pitching depth this year.
And I think the one thing, you know, when you talk to the Twins minor leaguers staff who have watched Hendriks pitch, the one thing like that pitch right there, he's not afraid. He's not afraid to throw the ball over the plate and attack hitters, and that's been his MO in the minor leagues. And you hope as he gets here to the big leagues and continues to pitch in the big leagues that he'll still attack the strike zone and give the Twins some quality innings from a young guy. He's got a very good arm, good movement, and good breaking pitch. But you got to continue that attacking mode that he had in the minor leagues.
3-2 to Longoria. It was a 2-2 pitch 2 pitches ago, and Bert is forever talking about if you're going to miss in off the plate, and that's exactly what Hendriks did to Longoria. If he misses out over the plate, this guy can hit it about 450 feet, but Hendriks missed his spot. They tried to bury a fastball down and in, and Hendriks missed where he needed to miss inside. And he did the same thing there and ends up walking him. So Longoria aboard with a leadoff walk here in the 7th. Again, the Twins' hope was that Hendricks would be the 3rd and final pitcher used. Longoria checks out of the game after drawing his walk. And Carlos Pena will hit.
Watching Longoria today defensively at third base. Doing a lot of drill work at third base, not just fielding ground balls, but coming in on the grass on his knees and starting his workout, taking ground balls. And just so you understand why a guy has turned into a superstar player, his work ethic, and I've watched him twice down here, very good work ethic on his defensive part of the game. We all know he can hit, but he's really put a lot of time in at playing third base.
Might have been the changeup that Hendricks threw on strike 1 to Carlos Pena. A fastball cracked foul over by the tarp. 2 strikes.
And that's what we were talking about, Hendricks being able to attack the zone. Now, that last ball's hit hard, but it's hooked foul after a good changeup. So he's got a changeup and a fastball. He's 0-2. With a guy that's a strikeout candidate, you get a lot of options here. But pounding that strike zone, how important that is, and I know you and Bert have talked about it for a long time.
Just missed getting the inside corner on Pena with a fastball. And you mentioned he is a strikeout candidate. Baker got him in the 1st inning to end the 1st inning. Breaking ball missing. And we talked earlier about Justin Morneau, how he's a bit unusual because he's got power, but he's also a contact hitter. Pena is just the opposite. Last year with the Cubs, just under 500 at bats, 493 at bats, and he struck out a whopping 161 times.
That's a lot of walking back to the dugout.
Now he will also draw walks. He drew over 100 walks in his season with the Cubs. And as a result, his on-base percentage, even though his batting average has been very low over the last few years, he still has some value to the Rays because he can get on base. And he's on the verge of doing that here. Longoria walked on a 3-2 pitch, and now it's a full count to Pena. There are his numbers from a year ago. Still a good on-base percentage of .357. Given that his batting average was just .225.
Yeah, dangerous hitter, can hit the ball out any part of the park. The other thing he brings to the table, very good first baseman.
Pulled hard and foul past Hughes, who's now in at first base for the Twins.
My old hitting coach George Hendrick had to get out of the way of that ball at first base. Sweet swinging George Hendricks.
Both the Rays and the Twins blessed with very good coaching staffs. People who work very, very hard. Full count again. Runner goes, and the pitch fouled back to our left.
Not even a flinch, Dick. That was pretty good. Nothing.
I know my range, how limited it is. So
between the two of us, we're not going to be moving much then, are we?
Rick Anderson hoping that Hendricks can get Pena with Sean Rodriguez in the on-deck circle. See if he comes back with a changeup here to Pena. Instead, a grounder to second. To see it, a Florimon double play. That's better.
Much better.
2 outs with 1 pitch.
Very nice fastball by Hendricks. Little two-seamer in. Gets the ground ball. Throwing a lot of strikes. That's very good. I know that's what Rick Anderson and Ron Gardenhire are looking for, is making guys put the ball in play and not giving too many free passes.
2 walks in 2 2/3 innings, just the 1 hit. Hendricks still continues to impress the field staff. Ball 1. He is the reigning minor league pitcher of the year for the Twins. Started in Double-A, breezed through AA through AAA and ended up handling himself okay. The numbers weren't overwhelming for Hendricks, but he handled things okay in his call-up last year. 1-1 to Rodriguez. And just missing low. And while his strike percentage might not be as high as it was the other day against the Tigers, it's where he's missing. I think that check swing, no swing, and it's 3-1 now. You know, I think if anything, we saw Scott Baker miss out over the plate, and the results speak for themselves. But if you miss in and low, you can keep the damage to a minimum.
For sure. And right there, you look at Baker's outing earlier today, and I think as the game progressed for him, his pitch count started to get high. He was throwing some high fastballs in the very first inning, getting a lot of foul balls. You know, Gardy said when we talked to him, he wanted to get him to 50 pitches. When he got to that 35-40 pitch mark, you could tell his command had kind of started leaving him a little bit, and breaking ball was kind of hanging up there a little, just kind of rolling in, and fastball didn't have the bite on it. But Bake did get to his 50 pitches. He threw some quality pitches early, and hopefully his arm strength will get there and his elbow isn't bothering him, and he'll end up being a quality starter that we've seen through the years from Scott Baker.
The innings count a little bit more than they did 2 weeks ago. The at-bats do. The results still aren't all that important. If Baker shows up at the ballpark tomorrow and says, my arm feels fine, I think everybody's going to be quite happy with his outing here today. Casilla far to his left gets the ground ball and retires Lobaton for the third out. Twins baseball on Fox Sports North is brought to you by your local Northland Ford dealers. Visit your local Northland Ford dealer or go to northlandford.com. And by Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs at Menards. Get a chance to get a complete breakdown of the Twins bullpen situation heading into the regular season, and more from Tyler Mason at FoxSportsNorth.com. Dick Bramer and Ron Coomer getting into the later innings here with the Rays right now comfortably in front. Joe Benson will get an at bat here. Pedro Florimon will hit next. Twins have a lot of cuts to make. Obviously, they have to get back down to 25 players by the time they leave here in a week and a half. 39 players in camp. 18 pitchers, 3 non-roster. 5 catchers, 2 non-roster. 10 infielders, 4 non-roster. When we say non-roster, we're talking about players who are not on the 40-man roster. If for some reason they were able to make the team, room would have to be made for them. Rodriguez has another one kick out of his glove, and this time Benson will reach safely. An error charge, or will be charged, to Rodriguez, allowing Benson to reach leading off the 7th inning.
It's kind of a little too casual out there at shortstop, and as the field's been beat on a little bit throughout the day, you got to move your feet if you're playing the infield. And we see this play here. You know, Benson, he takes a pitch out and away and hooks it, but just, you know, he's just unable. The shortstop, Rodriguez, he just kind of stands there and doesn't move his feet, and those are things that will drive managers a little crazy. I know Joe Madden, a guy, very fundamental guy, and you really, these routine plays, they've got to be made. And there's nothing that drives a manager crazy than bringing in a young guy and he just kind of lazily makes a play and then ends up being an error.
Here is one of those non-roster guys, Pedro Florimon. Twins claimed him on waivers to fill some middle infield position to be determined. Second base, shortstop. Very likely at the AAA level. Grounds one through the hole to right. So Florimon has had a good camp, and he's gotten, you know, maybe more playing time than anyone would have thought at the time, because the Twins are intrigued about this young man. And if he ends up in Rochester playing in the middle infield with Brian Dozier, I think the Twins are going to be keeping a close eye on those two.
It's a good swing. You see, you know, he's got great balance, Dick. When we were watching him earlier today, swinging the bat, he's able to spray it around the field a little bit. But to me, good under control swing from a guy who's going to be able to do some good things defensively. That's a quality approach at contact right there. When you look at that, letting the ball get to him a little bit and, you know, not jumping out at it when he gets a chance to play for Ronnie.
Inside, talking with Tom Bernansky, who will more than likely be Florimon's hitting coach, assuming he's assigned to Rochester. And Tom is really looking forward to working with him. He's already seen signs of progress, and he thinks that Florimon can be a productive hitter. He's not going to be a Derek Jeter, Alex Rodriguez type of hitter, but he has some tools that he can work with. And he's looking forward to seeing this young man improve offensively. His game is major league ready in the field. He just needs to hit a little bit.
And you can see right there, fundamentally, mechanically, he is sound in swinging the bat. That's a pitch down and away that he stayed with, kept his swing going, and drives a good hard ground ball through the infield. You know, Dick, the one thing I really enjoyed this fantasy camp was having time to spend with Tom Bernansky, talking about hitting and Twins hitters and people he was going to really enjoy starting to work with and getting them, you know, because they're so close to the big leagues. Bruno, a very good hitting coach, was obviously a great hitter. But the thing I really like is his style of teaching and being different with every guy, but there's certain fundamentals that have to happen. Obviously, I talk a lot with Joe Vavra. Us hitters, we all kind of stick together. Joe Vavra, a very good sound hitting coach and understanding of the mechanics. And I think Bruno, being able to get guys ready, and we got two guys on the bases right now, and Joe Benson also, that, you know, a guy like Bruno is going to be able to really help kind of tighten up their game to get them to this level.
Benson has been under Tom's tutelage for a couple of years now at two different minor league levels. Drew Butera, the hitter. Florimon, of course, new to the Twins organization. Got 8 at-bats with the Orioles late last year. 1 hit, 6 strikeouts, and that's one of the things that both Joe Vavra and Tom Bernansky have worked with him on, putting the ball in play. So much of what you've seen from Denard Span and Ben Revere and Alexi Casilla, they think that Florimon can be that type of hitter with a little pop in his bat. 3-2 now to Drew Butera. Nobody out. Twins needing a big inning here to jump back into the game, down by 5 runs. One out, 2 outs, with Butera scalding the ball to the third baseman, and a line drive double play.
Great swing by Drew. Not much you can do. Benson, he tried to freeze on that, but I think even if he freezes at second base, it's still a double play.
Michael Holloman, the hitter, he's not new to the Twins organization. He was in the Twins organization last year at New Britain and Rochester. Ended up getting 450 at bats. He's got some power, and he's had a very good spring, but might be, very likely will be, one of the guys sent across the parking lot here over the next week and a half. .23 at bats for the Tigers back in 2008. Big swing and a miss, 1-1.
And I think that's one thing Ron Gardner is looking for out of some of these young guys, is to come up to the big leagues, even in big league camp, and not be afraid. Let her rip. You're a big guy. Go ahead and drive the ball. And if you swing and miss, you swing and miss. But the one thing I know Gardy has been frustrated with earlier in camp is, you know, some of the young guys just kind of being a little tentative and just trying to put the ball in play, even in batting practice. And I think for some of these young guys to come up here and just play the game and let your swing. If you're a guy that's supposed to drive the ball out of the park or drive in runs, go ahead and take your swings. And I know, even though, you know, you're at 1 and 2, you've taken two good swings. That's one thing the manager is looking for.
Maybe if it's within you now to tone the swing down a little bit and now try to become conscious of contact and putting the ball in play.
Correct. But I think the one thing, and we've seen this through the years, and I've experienced this, you get to the big leagues, even in big league camp or in spring training games, and you want to just not embarrass yourself. You want to try to do your job. But so many times young players, they get too cautious and they don't allow their game to just play out. And, you know, it just doesn't work out for them.
Looking out over the plate, a fastball freezes him over the inside going.
This one's for all grass gurus, doers.
North is brought to you by McDonald's. Right now, you can get 20 crispy chicken McNuggets for just $4.99 at McDonald's. And by Toyota and your local Toyota dealer. Yeah, we see a lot of those on the golf course. That's all I need, another pair of eyes watching my backswing. Twins have a great home schedule to start the season. Albert Pujols and the Angels early twice. The two-time defending American League champion Rangers and the Red Sox all in April. Tickets are available for games against all those powers of the American League. Should make for an exciting first month. Log on to twinsbaseball.com or call 800-33-TWINS. And check out baseball at Target Field in April to the left field corner where Revere hauls it in. You know, we talked about the early schedule for the Twins and only 3 of the first 35 games to be played within the division. The Twins hope that they can at least keep their head above water against some really tough teams early on. and then do what they have done in their championship years, and that is make some hay against teams within the division. The division, of course, is going to be tough. The Tigers, prohibitive favorites. But we were reminded the other day about how fickle playoff hopes are this time of the year when Miguel Cabrera adjusting to third base and he takes a one-hop smash against his eye. That's a fair ball just out of Hughes' reach and into the right field corner. Salazar digging for two, and he'll be in with a double. Soft line drive that kept hooking away from Hughes, and touchdown just into fair territory for a double. Cabrera lucky that he had his sunglasses on, they say, or he may have suffered some serious eye damage. Here's the early schedule for the Twins. 3 games in Baltimore to start the season, and then a homestand. 3 games with the Angels, 3 games with the Rangers. Then 4 in New York, 3 in St. Petersburg. Red Sox come to town.
Playoff team, playoff team, playoff team. So Twins need to get off to a good start. And, I think the big key is we're seeing right now, they're playing fundamental ball, but they're healthy. And that's what everybody is concerned about as of, from watching the season last year.
And Hendricks continues now to throw strikes, gets ahead 0-2. The start of the season will look much better for the Twins if some guys can pitch the way that they pitch down here. Francisco Liriano's been very good the last 3 times out. Nick Blackburn's been very strong. There's a pop-up down the right field line. Ryan Dinkelman is out there. He makes the catch. Runner bluffs a tag, but going nowhere. 1 away. If Liriano and Blackburn, Pavano's not pitched particularly well down here, but he's more of a known quantity than the other 2. And if they can get out of the gate and pitch well at the start of the year, the hope is they'll be able to do more than keep their head above water.
And I think when you look at the Minnesota Twins and you take the body of work over the last 5 or 6 years, last year, if you take that and throw it out, other than that, this ball club has been in contention every year, if not in the playoffs.
This will be a 2-run home run. It'll make the score 9-2. So Liam Hendricks, in his 4th inning of work, gives up a double and a home run, and another home run with 2 outs in the inning.
Pitch right here by Hendricks. I believe it's a high breaking ball. Yep, just kind of either a changeup or a little slider. It really didn't slide and stayed up belt high. And today with these Rays hitters, if we made a mistake to the lefties and left that ball in the inner third, they've sure made everybody pay today.
Cody Rogers, not the biggest man on the Rays, but he's hit a big 2-run home run here. Luke Scott getting some time in. He's had some recovery time now, shoulder surgery in the offseason. The former Oriole. And Hendricks misses outside. No activity currently in the Twins bullpen, as the Twins want Hendricks to certainly clean things up here in the 8th and maybe ask him to go out in the 9th as well. Sharply hit, and Hendricks is giving up some well-hit balls here in his 4th inning.
Yeah, I think Liam, this is probably the most pitches he's thrown throughout this season. And that pitch right there, up and out over the plate. Little 2-seam fastball away that Scott pounded pretty good to right field.
Casey Fiend starting to warm up, as you saw, down in the Twins bullpen.
Right here, Dick, while you get a little time, I've got a couple friends back home. Huge Twins fans who are sick. Don Frost, who is a good friend, his son just won the national championship for the Gophers. The head coach for the Gophers, his father just got out of the hospital in St. Paul. Hockey, girls hockey team.
Oh, okay.
And John Allen, who is a good friend from Chicago, who now lives up there. They're both just getting out of the hospital. And Paula's grandmother turns 93 today. Grandma DeBleek. So I said I'd say hi to her today. Happy birthday, Graham. We'll be home soon.
And congratulations to Don Lucia and the men's hockey team for getting into the Frozen Four.
Yeah.
keep the fans cool and refreshed here at Hammond Stadium. Been a long spring for the Twins, and of course they started earlier than they normally do. And we talked about the schedule. Spring training goes into April this year. Most of the times, recently at least, it's been wrapped up in March. But the regular season doesn't start until April 6th. And there's a chance. I'm trying to do the math in my head here. Game 7 of the World Series, I think right now, would be played on November 6th. So there's a chance you might be watching Game 7 of the World Series from your deer stand in Minnesota. I'm not sure.
Snowballs or fastballs? We could
well, let's hope it's being played in Minnesota. But one of the, as you see, Marquise Fleming warming up. As you start a season late, you necessarily have to finish it late, and then you add in the extra couple of days necessary for the extra round of the playoffs. Our email question today was about the extra round of the playoffs, how we felt about it. It will help contribute to a very late postseason.
And don't you think when you look at adding the one game postseason and then a day off in between or whatever's going to happen, you may end up in years coming up here of moving the season back to somewhere around April 1 or April 2, so you can get those postseason games where there's so much interest, in a little better weather.
Well, baseball's decided over the last couple of years they want to open up their regular season on a weekend rather than the traditional, it used to be Cincinnati would always open up on a Tuesday.
Right.
But now baseball wants to open up its regular season on a weekend, and that makes marketing sense. There's a liner. Dinkelman drives one down the right field line, and he'll have an extra base hit. So Brian Dinkelman still in camp, still stinging the ball as he did last year in his September and earlier call-up.
Brian Dinkelman, guy that's made it very tough for Gardy to get rid of. He's kept him around, like you said, Dick, for a long time. Does a lot of things for the Twins. Got a very good swing and a little thunder in his bat. Good swing right there.
Valencia, the hitter, 0 for 3 today. A week or so ago, Valencia was the Twins' hottest hitter, but he's looking for his first hit here today. Anyway, baseball's going to open up its regular season on the weekends. This is the odd situation where the first weekend in April is the 6th, 7th, and 8th rather than the 1st, 2nd, or 3rd. That'll change next year. So the season next year will start at the beginning of April rather than the end of the first week of April. 1 strike to Valencia. And now a ball.
Be nice right here to see Danny's hooked quite a few balls today. Hit one line drive back through the middle with that shift that they've been playing against him in the infield. And there you go. This is the second baseman playing well around on the shortstop side of second base. But it'd be nice to see him try to shoot one the other way and just kind of get a little more balance in his swing here.
Now, did anybody ever shift you?
Absolutely. At times, especially in the outfield. Maybe not in the infield, but the outfield, as I played more and more in the big leagues, the gap that I hit was the right center field gap. And so they'd play me straight up in the infield, but the outfield would be swung around, especially the center fielder, to the opposite field. And you look at that and you go, well, maybe I should hook more. But I think it really messes with a hitter more when the infield like this is set up this way. And for me, I just look at if Danny can start shooting some balls the other way, that'll eliminate any of this issue.
Fly ball center field. Holloman setting up, or Dinkelman rather, for a tag, and he'll try to advance. And the throw off line. Valencia on a deep fly advances the runner. I look at some of the most productive right-handed hitters I've seen, and I'll include Magglio Ordonez, certainly Edgar Martinez. Nobody ever shifted them because I swear Ordonez got more RBIs to right center and right field than he did to his pull field.
when you look at major RBI guys, Cabrera comes to mind also this past year. How many balls did we see him hit with the bases loaded and 2 outs, and he's smoking the right center field and stay inside a ball and get a big hit the other way? And to me, most RBI guys, big RBI guys, use the whole field, especially in RBI situations when you got a good pitcher on the mound with good stuff. If you can go the other way, it just opens the field up so much more for a hitter.
Well, here is Luke Hughes, who has had a phenomenal last few days. His spring started slowly with a shoulder injury, and he's been the hottest hitter in the Grapefruit League over the last week. He went 5 for 5 the other day, and then again yesterday 2 for 3.
Luke, one of those guys that gives Gardy some options, different positions. Had a great spring last year. I think he led the team in home runs last spring with 6 or 7. And then he comes in and he's just got the ability down here to put the barrel of the bat on the ball. And so many of the young guys really working hard to try to make this ball club.
Even got a game the other day at shortstop, the one position he has not played much of in the infield. Fly ball to center, should be deep enough to get the run home. So it's a sacrifice fly and a run batted in, and it's a 9-3 ball game. You know, Hughes' chances of making the ball club. I mean, the Twins need somebody to back up Jamie Carroll at short. That might be Alexi Casilla, who could shift over there for a day or two, and then Hughes would be able to play at second base, a position he's more comfortable at.
And Dick, I don't think that's the best scenario a manager would want, to move his entire middle infield when you want to give a guy a day off. But with the way the club is setting up right now, Lexi does a very good job at shortstop and can handle playing short for a day or so at a time for sure. And we've seen him do a good job at short, so that may be the way Gardy has to go. It's not ideal, but you know, that's just the way the team is setting up right now.
There's some thought that as the Twins are whittling players off their roster, they might be interested in a more conventional utility player to come over and fill that role for the Twins. Of course, the Twins and the 29 other teams are going to be, you know, chipping players off their roster, sending them down, and in many cases those will be players who are out of options, can't be sent down. Revere drops a base hit to right field. A solid single to right for Ben Revere. Second hit of the ball game for Revere. You know, this out of options business, it's the Twins are probably more protective than most teams in terms of trying to keep players from being picked off the waiver wire.
Good swing right there by Ben. Little line drive, base hit to right, taking a hanging breaking ball.
If Trevor Plouffe makes the team, it will be largely because he's out of options, not because of anything he's done this year. He's been hurt for the last week, although he did some running today and everything checked out fine. He'll be back on the field shortly. But one of the biggest considerations in him making the team would be he's out of options.
Out of options, and I also believe Gardy, taking into consideration what he had to deal with last year, he really likes the idea of having some guys on the bench that can do some different things, but also add some offense and be able to drive the baseball and get you back in the game with one swing of the bat. You know, I've heard Gardy say this more in the last few days than I've ever heard him talk about guys, even in their batting practice, especially in the backfield. Your star players and the guys that are playing every day, they understand the game and they know what they're doing. But some of the guys that are going to be role players, he wants the guys that are going to be able to explode offensively and get you back into a ball game when he goes to his bench. And I think that's going to play into some of the decisions that are made.
2-1 to Casilla. And a little fly ball flipped to left. And the Twins get one back in the bottom of the 8th, heading to the 9th, down by 6. Well, the Rays hadn't been scoring many runs lately, but they've hit some home runs, 3 of them, in fact, all of them with 2 outs, and all 3 home runs have come with men on base. So they've got a comfortable lead, and Liam Hendricks can't pitch 5 innings. He did pitch 4. Casey Fiend will get the 9th inning.
Casey Fiend had 6 innings so far, only given up a couple hits, a couple walks, and some punch-outs. Big, strong right-handed pitcher. I love watching some of these guys come in from the minor leagues and be able to finish out the game, and just to see what they can do, Dick. Is he going to be aggressive in the strike zone? Is he going to throw that good fastball? These are times for Gardy that he can really lock in and see what he gets out of some of these younger players.
And he delivers strike 1. Fiend up for parts of 2 years with the Tigers. Total of 11 games in 2009 and 2010. And a total of 14 innings, so just a very small sample size. Came out of the Astro organization last year, signed as a minor league free agent.
I know when the Twins were looking at pitchers going in and talking to Jim Rance and then wanting some good quality arms, that if you call a guy up, he's got a quality arm to come up here, and you're looking right now, 92-mile-an-hour fastball, and this on a slow gun. We saw the slider to pitch before, a good hard slider down and into the lefty.
Flipped foul, still 1-2. Sean O'Malley, the batter. Rays just 6 wins in Grapefruit League play coming into play today, and only 1 at home. Now, spring training records don't mean anything, and home road splits certainly don't mean anything, but they have not done well playing. And O'Malley's going to dig for 2, and Revere's throw with Casilla trying to backhand it and put a tag on, not quite in time. It'll be a double.
Good throw right there by Ben. I know that's been the one thing that everybody's talked about over the last year and a half or so, is the lack of arm strength from Ben. But right there, that ball taking him down to the left field corner and making a good turn to cut the ball off and make a good turn towards second base. Now this is a good one-hop throw that we see to second base. And to me, that's encouraging to watch Ben, knowing that there may be a lot of days that he's going to be asked to play some right field.
About a foot foul. Well, O'Malley runs very well. It might have been a double regardless of who was playing left field.
Right. But I just think Jerry White has worked really hard in the last year with Ben Revere on trying to get his momentum going towards the base he's throwing it, getting his legs underneath him. When he first came here and we were watching him, I'd watch him throw from the outfield and his feet weren't underneath him. And so I know Jerry's worked real hard at getting his legs and getting aggressive going towards the target, but keeping his feet underneath him. And right there, you saw that throw to second was very good by Ben. And a good one-up throw. And you're not asking him to be Roberto Clemente out there. You're just asking him to be able to hit the cutoff man and do what you're supposed to do.
Liner caught by Valencia, 1 away. Well, again, Terry Ryan, when today, half hour before game time, when asked about Ben Revere and now the different complexion in the outfield with Willingham in left and Parmalee, one of the candidates to play some in right field, along with Doman and Revere, said, well, Ben Revere's arm is too short really to play left field, so it's too short to play right, but that's not going to keep him from making this ball club. The strong suggestion, at least, that Revere is still very much in the picture on the 25-man roster when camp breaks. Jose Lobaton, the hitter. And Fiend shaves the outside corner.
Every team in Major League Baseball has some of these issues of, well, the guy doesn't exactly fit at that spot, but he fits on our club at that spot. And I think that's what you're looking at with the way the Twins outfield is setting up. If you have Justin Morneau as your designated hitter, which is kind of what it's seeming like, especially for the first month maybe. So as you look around the field, if Ben Revere ends up playing some right field, he's just going to have to understand and be aggressive coming and getting the ball.
That one hit to the gap. It'll score another run. Lobaton digs for second, and he'll get there with an RBI double, and it's 10-3. So a pair of doubles here in the ninth. The Rays get a run they're probably not going to need this afternoon.
Typical here for Hammond Stadium now. The wind has changed and blowing out hard in the late afternoon to right field.
Philip Wunderlich is the hitter. Down and in, ball one. It's an exciting time of the year for baseball fans all over the country. You think that 3 weeks from now, 3.5 weeks from now, the Twins will be back in the state of Florida. They'll be taking on the Tampa Bay Rays, and they will have played 13 regular season games already.
Yeah.
That's just 3.5 weeks from now. Swing and a miss. Wunderlich swings over the top.
Good slider right there.
Just one other thing, there were so many different topics, a variety of things talked about by Terry Ryan today as we see Drew Butera catching Casey Fiend. Somebody asked Terry Ryan whether he would like the Twins to carry 3 catchers. Ooh, splintered bat near the camera well. Everybody okay? And Terry adamantly said, well, that'll be Ron Gardenhire's decision. If Gardy decides he wants 3 catchers, and whether Drew Butera would be one of the 3, it's assumed that if they keep 3, he would be. That'll be the manager's decision. You know, the general manager who's in charge of making the roster, but in this instance, at least, he's going to let the manager pick whether he wants 3 catchers or 2.
I got a lot of hits with the ball not going as far as that broken bat did, I'll tell you that.
There's a little roller up the line. Hughes goes to the bag. And out number 2.
That's 2 broken bats and 1 at bat. That's not very good.
Salazar will hit. In the years that you played for the Twins, and then you went on to play for some other teams, 3 catchers really, in this day and age where just about every team has at least a 12-man pitching staff, 3 catchers is a luxury, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And a rarity?
A rarity, for sure. I think if you were to ask Ron Gardenhire right now, would he like to have 3 catchers? No, he'd like to have 2 productive ones and have a starting catcher like Joe Mauer and let Joe play every day would be the ideal thing, and just move from there.
A couple of doubles and another run for the Rays. Rick Anderson in the dugout talking with Casey Feen, I believe that is, about pitch location, arm angle.
Changing eye levels here a little bit.
Frank De Los Santos is going to pitch the 9th inning for the Rays. De Los Santos in spring training, coming in for the 6th time. We'll see a lot of strikeouts in 5 2/3 innings. Joe Benson will lead things off for the Twins in the bottom of the 9th. And this is our last spring training telecast while the Twins are playing here yet for roughly another week and a half. We'll be getting things ready for the start of the regular season a week and a half from now in Baltimore. Now Benson, I don't know whether we can call this an official call, but Benson, when he's played in our 2 earlier telecasts, has hit a home run in each of the other telecasts. So here's my spring training call.
Well, if he gets his front foot down and gets it flat, that's what he's working on with Joe Vavra, is trying not to get his front foot to spin out and spin open as he's starting to generate the power of his swing. So he needs to keep his front side closed, and if he does with this lefty, he's got a good chance.
Well, now the guy's got to throw him a strike, right?
You got the call, not me. You called him.
2-0, a hitter's count.
He might have heard you out there. I don't know. Joe Benson, one of those guys with a lot of ability to do a lot of different things.
There's a strike, 2-1. Would you agree? I think I identified him as the one prospect the Twins have right now that would be the closest to a 5-tool player.
Absolutely. He's a guy that can hit the ball a mile. He can run. He's very aggressive in the outfield. You see right there, big aggressive swing. The one thing that Joe, absolutely, he is a 5-tool player. He can do it all. He's just got to tighten his game, I think, going down to AAA. Gene Glenn, the AAA manager's been in the big leagues a long time. Mankato State guy and a local guy, but very good baseball guy. Was my third base coach with the Cubs. And Bruno being his hitting coach in AAA. I think you're looking at somebody, could be here soon.
And Benson will hold up with the ball lost in the sun in right field. Not a home run, to be sure, but a sun-aided single, I believe, is how they'll rule that. Here comes Florimon.
But yeah, you look, you have any issues with the outfield so far, if you do come middle of the season, I would anticipate Joe Benson being the guy to get called up possibly if he's doing a good job in Rochester. He's a guy that can add a lot to the team. He's just got to just quiet himself down and just kind of relax just a little bit more at home plate. He gets really excited, overswings a lot. The pitch that we saw him foul off the other way, very good swing, very aggressive swing. But if he can stay on the ball with his head and keep his front side closed a little bit, you're going to see him do a lot more damage than he's done up until now.
We saw Florimon as a left-handed batter get a base hit. Now he gets a chance from the right side. If, as it appears now, Chris Parmelee makes the team as a part-time outfielder, well, that's a spot that Benson would be able to fill later on if things don't go well for Parmelee or anybody else. Chopper to short. Rodriguez will start a double play. With Benson cleaning out the second baseman. Hard takeout slide, but the Rays get a double play.
Very good pivot at second base right here. Benson going in hard, not being held at first base, so he gets a good running start.
So 2 down, and Drew Butera.
I don't think you'll have any issues with Benson being a football player in high school, taking out the second baseman, that's for sure.
And strike one, delivered by De Los Santos. And Pounded foul. Steve Little wants nothing to do with that. Two strikes to Butera. Just missing the inside corner. 1-2. Twins with 10 hits, just 3 runs, 14 hits, 3 home runs for the Rays, and a 10-3 lead. Brian Domit drove in a couple of runs for the Twins. Scott Baker started, was unable to complete 3 innings, but got around 50 pitches thrown. Fouled off his front leg, maybe the back leg. Back on the afternoon, Justin Morneau with another very solid hit, a double to straightaway center field.
Dome with a big couple RBIs, big home run. So some of the heart of the lineup starting to do some damage.
Liam Hendricks ran into some trouble in his 4th inning of work, but did complete 4 innings. Butera set, and another 1-2 pitch heading his way. And another bouncer, foul. Twins have 9 games against major league teams left down here, and then they'll close out the Grapefruit League action on April 4th against the Fort Myers Miracle. Cracked his bat. So I'm just wondering, in that game with Jake Mauer managing, at least at the start of the game against his brother Joe, whether he might just want to intentionally walk him.
Or
challenge him.
Yeah.
Or hit him.
Yeah.
You don't want to do that, do you?
After last year, I'd say probably not.
Probably not. Well, they'll probably have some fun with that.
Absolutely, I would think so.
Jake, the Class A manager here in Fort Myers. Another 1-2 pitch. That swing. They don't appeal. Very close to a commitment by Butera.
You think with 2 outs in a 10-3 game, if that's an appeal, the right arm goes up?
Boom. Butera hanging tough. If Butera reaches, Holloman would have a chance to hit here. He's in the on-deck circle. Doink down the right field line. And Butera gets a base hit after a long at bat. Drops a double down the right field line, and Holloman will have his chance. So again, the merits of just fighting some pitches off, maybe fouling a ball off a foot or two, but keeping your at bat alive, and something good might happen.
Yeah, a little inside out swing by Drew, and drop a little 15 love and a little double. Sure, them toes are barking out there at second base after fouling a couple balls off his feet.
And Holloman has a chance here with a runner at second and 2 down. Ball 1. And in the dirt, Lobaton digs it out. 2-0.
This could be one of them scenarios for one of them long balls you were talking about right here.
Yeah?
Young guy looking to do some damage here. 2-0 count. Get a fastball you can hit.
All right, now it's 3-0. De Los Santos probably thought he'd retired Butera once or twice or 3 times during his at-bat. Now he's got another battle here, and he's dug himself a 3-0 hole. And he misses on all 4. So first and second, 2 away, and Brian Dinkelman will have a plate appearance. Dinkelman doubled his last time up. Single runs for the Twins in the 2nd, 5th, and 8th innings, and now in the 9th, the threat with 2 out. And late on a half swing, 1 strike. Chip to left. And a diving catch, and a ball dropped out there, and a run's going to score. Dinkelman will get a bloop double down the left field line. In and out of the glove, and the Twins get a double and get at least 1 run here in the 9th.
I think everybody having a little trouble seeing the ball off the bat here with the sun setting and the glare off the stands, and just kind of a late jump, and Twins stay alive.
De Los Santos now will face Valencia. And even up by 6 runs, 2 outs. The Rays put their shift on Valencia. One strike for the Twins' third baseman. And called strike 0-2. Valencia hitless in the ball game. One and 2. De Los Santos can bring it. We've seen 91, 92 on the in-stadium radar reading.
Talking about earlier about Danny trying to hit one the other way. Kind of tough when he's shooting it at your kneecap.
Just missing up a little bit. He might have caught Valencia looking out over the plate a little bit, and he stood him up a little bit. Nearly got a called third strike. Missing again with a fastball. Fills the count. First base is open. And Hughes is on deck. And a walk fills the bases. Well, De Los Santos isn't exactly winning many points in the dugout right now.
I should say not.
So Hughes, who has been the hottest hitter in Florida over the last several days, got a sacrifice fly his only time up today. And he comes up with the bases loaded and 2 away. Bouncer to short. And that ends it. Twins leave the bases full and lose to the Rays 10-4. We'll come back to Hammond Stadium and wrap up our broadcast in a moment.